Hello, my fellow vapers and my fellow smokers. What is beeping over there? Is that you beeping?
It's my new smartwatch.
I appreciate that. Can you just like mute that? I mean, you know, we're doing a live broadcast right now. Why would you even buy a smartwatch, really? At this point, just get one of those goes tick, 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 tick. What's going on, Phil?
How you doing, pal?
Yeah, just unplug it. Can you just unplug it? Can you do that?
I'll just take it off if I need to. I don't see you on the screen. Should I see you on the screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that in just a second. Just keep talking.
Okay. How was birthday day?
Birthday day was fine. For those of you that I don't know, oops, I just lost you just a second. I just froze you. That's not good. That's not good, is it? It goes there. Now you're not frozen anymore. For those of you that don't know, on November the 6th, I celebrate 2 birthdays. My wife and my daughter born on the same day, which, if you factor in Thanksgiving as well, too, makes it for a very, very expensive month of November. But honestly, yesterday was just a great night for me because we got all together, my daughters, my wife, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and a couple of my daughter's girlfriends. We all went out to dinner, and we just had a wonderful time. And it was just a nice, really good family time, and everybody had a great time. So
I saw, you know, when your entire family is together, you guys look all very Italian, I think.
Thank you. It's very rare. When you have teenage girls, it's very rare that you can enjoy a moment like that where all of us are together. And it was just one of those moments yesterday, and it was really fun. Everybody got what they wanted, and as far as gifts are concerned, and it was good. We had cake, we had drinks, we had food, awesome food with Chris. You know, it's one of my favorite restaurants here in Chattanooga, and it was great. We had a good time. Yeah,
terrific.
Yeah, how about you?
Any gifts that we should know about?
No, nothing specific. My daughter wanted a Pablo Escobar sweatshirt and a 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝘀 sweatshirt. I mean, what is going on here? I have to like really look into what she's been doing lately. She got a TV and some clothes and stuff like that. And then I got my wife, me and Lena picked out some Jimmy Choo perfume. And got her some headbuds, got her an air fryer, just little stuff like that. You know, it was fun. It was good. It was good.
Very nice.
Nothing over the top, and it was just very, very enjoyable.
Very sweet. I do want to thank. I gotta give a shout out here and thank Bill Tarling for the show last week.
Absolutely.
Or actually the week before last. You know, I came to Bill last minute there, and I asked him to do the show with me, and he put it together in record time, and he did a really, really good job. So, Bill, thank you very much for that, and I welcome the opportunity to do that with you again someday.
Says your mic sounds a little bit low.
Can we go back? Bill, can you?
Let me crank it. I got you. Yeah, let me cut down a little bit. Mine that'll balance it out a little bit. Okay, so yeah, I do appreciate that. I was up with the FDA for the PMTA meeting that they had for a couple of days. I would much rather be doing the Smoker Show than being around all that corruption and filth in Washington, D.C. Trust me, I have to take 3 showers every time I come back. But I do appreciate you stepping up, and thanks for filling in the episode. It's really, really important to keep these things going. Before we get started, I mean, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, Phil. Before we get started, I do want to play this just really, really touching video. Here in Tennessee, with the Tennessee Smoke-Free Association, we started a PR campaign this month. With our PR firm, we're trying to get videos and op-eds. I have an op-ed up on Chattanoogan.com if you want to go read it on flavors. I think it was pretty good, but yeah, I'm a little bit biased. But we're also starting to do videos of adults that are using flavored products to either quit or continue to stay off cigarettes. So we've got a couple of videos that we've got up. I do want to play a couple for you guys here to see now, if you don't mind. Would you like that, Phil?
Absolutely. Let's see them.
Let's do it.
This is very personal for me and my entire family. I believe that my dad is alive today because of vaping. My dad smoked for 56 years. He's had multiple heart attacks, stents in his heart and stents in his legs. 1 year after he started vaping, he went back for his checkup. The pulmonologist that was treating him called the hospital and accused them of sending him the wrong x-ray because that's how dramatically his lungs had improved. So that made me super passionate, just watching him go through and how much better he feels. I'd been smoking for about 20 years, and I went into my first vape shop, bought a full setup, got educated on how to use it, and came home and never smoked another cigarette. That was 7 years ago. It's not just my father, it's my wife, me, both of my aunts. We've all quit smoking because of vaping, and we're all leading a much healthier, happier life.
I mean, it's a very, very personal story, and I am so glad that Stacy decided to share that with us. And
yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, right before the show, I contacted Stacy as soon as I saw that video, and I asked her if I could share it up on tasteyourjuice.com, and she said yes. So it's already there for people to see as well.
Yeah. Also, I do want to play this other video that I have here. I just want to make sure I put the right video. Nope, that's not the right one. That's not the right one. See, I'm glad I checked it. That's not the right one, but I do have another video. That let me just talk.
Try not to show any porn. There.
No, this is not the folder where the porn goes in.
Good.
But go ahead and just give me just a second. Go ahead, Phil, if you want to say something. Oh, I got it right now. So here we go. Let's play this one. This is actually with some flavors. Let me just switch over to here, and here's the video for you.
I've been a smoker for 36 years.
30 plus years.
30 years.
50 years.
I've been smoking for over 30 years.
At least 42 years.
36 years. Chain smoked for 36 years. 2+ packs a day.
And all because of this,
I stopped cigarettes and haven't picked one up in 3 years.
I've been cigarette free for 2 years.
I've been smoke free for 2 years.
If I wasn't vaping, I would still be smoking and my health would be a lot worse.
And the flavor that keeps me off cigarettes is lemon drop.
I quit smoking on the flavor of strawberry donut.
My favorite flavor is strawberry watermelon bubblegum, and thanks to that, I quit smoking.
I'm so happy to be smoke free.
So now I don't have a bad habit of smoking where I insult everybody I'm around. I walk around without smelling like an ashtray.
And I have no desire to smoke another cigarette.
Yeah, how about them kids, right? You know, and listen, I'm not going to sit here and not deny that there might be a problem with kids picking up this product. But I am going to be adamant saying that flavors and flavored products are vital for the improvement of public health and people to quit smoking, period. There's just no doubt about it. You have somebody that's 60, 70 years old saying they use a strawberry donut to quit smoking. No government agency, nobody. I mean, nobody, not even God himself, can tell you how you're going to improve your health. And that's a very personal matter to me, especially when they're threatening to take away this product from adults that have quit smoking. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's really all I vape anymore is just flavors. I really don't like tobaccos. One of the things that Stacy said there, I really liked. And if you remember, I offered up a suggestion years ago. She talked about the X-ray and how they thought that they sent the wrong X-ray. You remember that?
Yeah.
What I suggested years ago was, how about we replace all of the cloud competitions with the best before and after X-rays when you start vaping? Wouldn't that be a cool thing? Wouldn't that be a cool contest to have?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Rather than cloud chasing contest.
That would be awesome, but unfortunately, in today's date, the marketing of this product has really taken over, and we'll talk about that today anyway. As we progress into the show, I don't want to give it away. Let's do some business first.
Okay.
215-383-5752 is our telephone line. It will be open here in a little bit. We'll be taking your calls, your questions, and your comments. That is brought to you kindly by the Vaping Advocate magazine, the only advocate magazine concerning vaping. And we do have a new sponsor on board. And I have to say this, that we're very, very picky about sponsors, right, Phil? I mean, very, very picky.
Yeah, extremely.
We do have some standards, not only standards from the company, from a company perspective, but also what they offer perspective. It's very hard for us, and we've been asked by multiple e-liquid companies to come on board to bring on a company that makes 4 flavors at 6 milligram max of, 80 VG liquid. As much as we'd like to, this does not fit this model, unfortunately. So there's a whole vetting process that goes where, but we're very, very proud to have Lunar Rover on board. A company that I have known the owners since they launched. In fact, I helped them launch way, way back in the day. I got them set up with a lab that's making their liquid. And I know what their mission was from back then, and I know what their mission is today. And they're still around, and we're very, very happy to have them on board. I'm just going to transfer over to the website and kind of read the mission here. Not long ago, cigarettes were a way of life. Too many, they still are. To us, they were both comfort and calamity. We craved the experience, but despised the struggle. We clung to the security, but surrendered to the addiction. We anticipated the moment, but concealed the stigma. We needed the satisfaction without the duality. It was time to make a change. It was time to start our mission. The mission was to find the right alternative. It didn't exist, so we made it. Our mission is simple: enable people to take one small step to the path to a smoke-free life by creating high-quality products and providing exceptional customer service. That'll be your vehicle down the road to change. And what fitting? I mean, it fits right into our to what we do here, right?
When I was talking to Max, we were discussing, how they wanted to market and how they wanted to market moving forward. And we talked about a lot of the things that, how e-liquid gets marketed today. We talked about Instagram and vape models and all that other stuff. And they had absolutely no interest in pursuing that. They wanted to be and partner with us because they feel that we have a real good vision, and that vision is get more smokers involved, convert more smokers over to vaping. I mean, that's always been our vision, that's always been our goal, and that's why they wanted to partner up with us. And I think that's terrific.
They have given us a special code. Remember, we have MTL10 for My Vapor Store and all products, and Lunar Rover, we have Switch 10. Switch 10 is the code, lunarrover.com. I mean, you know, I can go on and on about this company, but you're gonna see here. I mean, just really, really adult looking packaging, very clean, very mainstream, very adult, and we're very, very proud of that. Even some of their flavored product is just, you know, the labeling is just fantastic. All the proper warnings on it. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want a tobacco, which is gonna be our first segment, leading into our first segment, the BLK is just an excellent tool to quit smoking. I got a 12 milligram here. You can see it on top. 12 milligram in an Endura, in a Zenith, in a Nautilus, whatever you want to put it in. This is a great liquid for people that are looking to switch over. They have a menthol. They have some other flavored product as well too. But since it's the smoker show, we always get questions about 50-50 liquid and transitioning liquid, or people that are looking for tobaccos. LunarRover.com, switch 10 as the code, give this a try, and also try my favorite flavored product, which is the bourbon peach. That's my favorite liquid that they have.
Oh, I like that one too.
That's flavored as well too. But anyway, welcome on board Lunar Rover. We will be doing an interview with the guys a little bit further down the line, and we'll be excited to have them on and talk to them a little bit more.
You know, it's a really good. I love the three lines that we have now, because it's almost like a progression. Of course, you can enjoy any of them whenever and wherever you like, right? But I'm thrilled to have Lunar Rover, because now, like, I know that if we're sending out a starter kit, I could send out that tobacco in a 12 or an 18 along with it, you know, to give somebody a really good experience. And maybe they start there, and maybe then they try you know, something from 5 Pawns, and then maybe they try something from Naked. It's just a really good progression and mix of liquids that we have sponsoring us right now. And I really am thrilled to have them on board.
And I think it's vital. I think it's vital to still have this type of product. Everybody's kind of transitioning. Everybody's talking about the salt and the 𝘃 hype and all that stuff. And listen, I get it. If salt works for you and it help you quit, don't just buy into the salt. Interestingly enough, we were at a vape shop seminar this past weekend, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. I do want to bring up the 𝘃 though. Yeah. And all the employees and the managers were in a room, and me and Phil were talking to him, and the 𝘃 issue was brought up. And I made an interesting question to the employees. I said, who is asking for salt? I mean, if somebody's coming to your store asking specifically for 𝘃, I mean, a smoker doesn't know the difference between 𝘃 and regular nic. How do they know, right? So who is asking for 𝘃? And what was really interesting question, I mean, the answer that we got, Phil?
It was basically, well, they heard about it and they want to try it. Right. It was just a hype thing. Just a hype thing. That's exactly right. Yeah. And not only did we hear that in the meeting, in the presentation that we gave, we also heard that from the Uber driver, if you remember.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you were going to bring him up. Let's bring him up right now. First of all, he was very, very intimidated to go into vape shops because he didn't like, you know, some of the things that he saw, some of the things that he experienced, some of the people that he worked with in the vape shop. So he was extremely intimidated, but he was using some kind of cloud device. I think he was like 3 or 6 milligrams. He's like,
Baby
it's really
Beast.
not work. What?
A Baby Beast tank.
Yeah, Baby Beast tank. This is really not working for me. I'm still smoking too. You know, but I wouldn't expect that to work for a smoker, right? And then he says, you know, I really want to try that 𝘃 that everybody's talking about. Right, that everybody's talking about.
Right.
You know, and like you said, you know, if it works for folks, that's great. But I think it's just another, maybe just another hype, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree that a lot of people that are asking for it don't actually even know what it is. It's just that you hear about it and you want to give it a shot. I like the fact that salt nicotine is around for dual use, to combat dual use. But the employees need to recognize who a dual user is when they come into the store as well, too, to be able to offer that option. Don't just sell salt nicotine or whatever product you sell into your store. You need to identify the customer that comes in before you sell them any product to keep them happy and stay off. Right? We're veering off. Back to the main conversation. My main conversation, the main topic that I want to bring up is that that tobacco initiation, Phil. I mean, the tobacco initiation. And we hear this all the time. A smoker goes in. Pardon me. I still haven't gotten over this.
Yeah, I see that.
A smoker goes into a shop, and what is usually the first thing that they say? I want something that tastes like a cigarette. So we need to kind of dispel this myth, Phil. And I'm going to let you expand on it. There is no liquid that is going to taste exactly like a cigarette, right?
You know, there are some that get close, but nothing is going to taste exactly like a cigarette. The reason why is because nothing's burning. I mean, nothing is burning. You have no, first of all, it's very, very difficult to recreate the lovely taste of burning paper, right? But there's no burning leaves. There's no burning anything. You know, you're just heating up to the liquid to the point where it evaporates, where it boils away, and it creates vapor. And, you know, that's what you taste. So everything is trying to just simulate that taste. Some of them get close. Some of them are better than others. But nothing is going to taste exactly like it. But I mean that's an important thing, though. It's an important thing because a lot of people who are looking to transition, I was one of them. I didn't care about flavors when I started. It wasn't until I started trying flavors where I said, oh my God, this is so much better than the tobacco flavors that I'm vaping. I'm going to move over to this. But when I started, the only thing I cared about was, what can I get that tastes most like my Marlboro Light?
Right.
And, you know, I think people get over that. I think people still enjoy tobaccos, but I think that that's an important place to start. And that's why we need that kind of product around.
And also, we need it in various sizes as well, too. That's one thing I like about the BLK product, which is from Lunar Rover, that it comes in 30 mils. You know, you don't have to commit to a big 60 or 100 mil bottle because if you're, in most cases, okay, there's a lot of people that are still vaping tobaccos after many years. I call him tobacco connoisseur. Patrick Griffey, the son of Liberty that's on my Smoke Free Radio network, he still vapes tobaccos after 6-7 years of vaping. There's people that are like really into that very robust tobacco, and they can pick out the different notes and the Kentucky bluegrass and the Virginia flake and all that stuff. That's great if that's your thing. But the majority, and this is based on scientific surveys, as I'm just saying this, the majority of people start with a tobacco flavor and quickly want to switch. Once that smoke gets out of their mouth, their taste buds change and they want something else. So you don't have to commit to a big bottle. You can have 30 mils. And vape shops should have 30 mils, for crying out loud. Why don't they carry 30 mils anymore? Put that 30 mil out there, $10, $12, $13. Put it out there on the market. Let the people buy it. And then quickly, if 3-4 days they want to get a different flavor, they're not committed to an entire bottle that they have to kind of like force themselves to vape through. So transitioning liquid, and which is the topic that transitioning liquid is very, very important. Tobacco options should be available in vape shops as well, too, but it should be available on the websites that you're going to go. There are different types of tobacco depending on the cigarette that you vape. If you vape the Newport, if you vape the Marlboro, if you vape the Camel, which is a very, much more different tasting cigarette than, let's say, a Marlboro Light cigarette, right? So you need to have various tobacco to make that transition if you're looking for a tobacco flavor. There's some rarity exceptions where people just don't want tobacco and they go directly into a flavored product, but the majority of people, and especially the older demographic, I keep bringing up the older demographic as well, Phil, because if one thing that this kind of vape shop tour has taught me, like visiting all these vape shops, is that unfortunately the demographic is usually 35 and under.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say even I'll just go out on lip and say even lower than that.
Yeah, are you talking about employees and staff?
I'm talking about customers. What customers they're drawing into their stores? They're drawing a younger crowd, and that older demographic is not there. I don't feel like they're. I'm not saying, okay, let's not take it to the far where they're pushing away. I just don't think it's welcoming.
Right.
And in turn, somebody that's been smoking for 20, 30 years and is used to that flavor, that's really what they want to transition, believe it or not.
If I walked into a vape shop and I saw, in addition to that wall of flavors and that wall of high VG and that wall of 0, 3, and 6, I saw part of that wall dedicated to tobacco flavors, higher PG, higher nicotines, 12, 18s, maybe even some salts in there as well. That would, you know what that would lead me to say? Aha, this vape shop is really caring about smokers. They really want to get smokers in here and give them a good experience. And yet that's not something that I see at all.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 2018, guys. Come on. I did see a comment in the chat that from an existing vapor that says that he loves salts because you can use them at work, and then he goes home and has clouds. This is exactly the dual use that I was talking about earlier. Instead of having that cigarette that gives you that instant, you can use salt as a dual, as long as you're not smoking. That's all that really matters. There's many ways to vape, and there's many ways, thankfully, thank God, with technology and innovation, there's so many things out there that we can use depending on the situation that we are.
I've said that before. I'll say it again. That is my dream. That is my goal, where dual use no longer means smoking and vaping, but dual use means you vape in two different ways, depending on where you are, what your situation is. You have that little pod system with your very, very high nicotine salt, and then you have your other device, whether it be mouth to lung or direct lung or high nic or freebase or 0, 3, or 6, whatever. But we want to get smoking out of the equation in dual use. I think that should be a goal.
I do think this 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝘀 Virginia blend that Lunar has is really, really good. And not just because I helped with it when they launched, I suggested it. Don't want to toot my own horn, but this is a very, very good tobacco. And it's something that I think a lot of people, even after they become tobacco connoisseurs, they come back to. And I know that from their customer base as well, too. People continue to do that. So if you have a smoker, try this. If we're just going to send out a kit, I'm going to include some of this inside and let people try it out. I think the initiation, going through that step, that transitioning step, is very, very important to have that right flavor. But I want you to help out a smoker that tries out a tobacco flavor feel. And guess what? Within 24 hours, because that's possible, right? Within 24 hours, he doesn't like it anymore. What does that mean?
Are we talking about vapor's tongue, perhaps?
No, not vapor's tongue. Just maybe his taste buds just kicked in immediately. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, absolutely not. Let me tell you something. When I first started vaping and I got involved with flavors, okay, do you know the only companies that I would shop at online were companies that offered sample packs?
Mm-hmm.
Sample packs. Yeah, and I used to keep a case of 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝘀s, right? And this is back when 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝗀s were the thing, right? Every one of my cardos had a different flavor in it, and they were all labeled. I'm kind of crazy that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
They all had little labels on it, so I could go in there and I could look at all the flavors that I had, because I was just trying to find what was going to work for me, right? And the fact that I could go and I could buy these sample packs online was a great thing, because I got to experience so many different flavors until I settled in and found my path, my journey.
I do have a really, really nice comment. Let me just bring this up here real quick. Okay. This is from Asphalt Cowboy. I just want to make sure I put it in there. Before I forget, I got the kit you sent and used it for a day. Give it to one of my guys at work and showed him how to use it. He's 2 days in and not smoking. Figured you like seeing an update. Got him set up with some 12 milligram nicotine, and he's loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Awesome. Way to go, Asphalt. Asphalt's a good guy.
Yeah, he really is. I'm trying to switch this is from Naur Harush. I'm trying to switch my mother. She coughed all the time. I'm assuming that says she coughs all the time. I have tons of knowledge about vaping, and she just wouldn't even try it. I think what you said there, and we've talked about this many, many times personally with Phil when we're talking to other people as well too. I think what you said in there, I have tons of knowledge. I think this is maybe possibly one of the reasons why she doesn't want to try it. Unfortunately, us advanced vapors sometimes feel we tend to go a little bit overboard with smokers, right?
Intimidate a little bit sometimes.
A little bit.
Yeah, maybe we're a little bit too pushy. Yeah, I mean, that could definitely happen. So, I mean, you got to remember, like, what worked for my wife. Earlier on, it was just like constantly trying to get her to vape, right? It's like, here, try this, babe. Use this. You got to quit smoking. And the more that I would do this with her, just the harder she would push back. She would want nothing to do with it. So, I gave her the whole story, but you mean a lot to me. I want to spend the rest of our lives together. I want you around for a long time. I said, this is a healthier way for you to get your nicotine. End it there. And then I would just put a device next to the bed, and I would try a different flavor and put it next to the bed. And just continue to do that, And she would pick it up and use it. I noticed I would not. And even when she was doing that, she didn't want, this is how my wife is. She did, oh my God, that's really good, babe. You're trying it. What do you think about it? No, as soon as I do that, we start all over again, right? So it was just this slow, gradual thing. And finally, she came around. And what is she now? 3 or 4 years, 5 years smoke-free now at this point.
That's fantastic.
But it was just different people are going to need different things when it comes to whether it be support, whether it be pushy, or whether it be not pushy, or whether it be giving something to somebody, or whether it be them going out and buying it on their own and having a vested interest in quitting because they spent their own money on it. Everybody's going to be a little bit different.
I agree. In cases where I've seen usually the husband to the wife, or the brother to the sister, or the boyfriend to the girlfriend, or the son to the mother, as we have it in this case here. I think it's just an overload of information. And I think sometimes since we get so comfortable into vaping and we're like, oh, yeah, man, vaping is great. And you do this and then build this, blah, 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 and then they just get confused. Simple, drop it, leave it, let them try it out, let them pick it up, and then let them come to you. You need to pique their curiosity to come to you in order to make it something that they feel like they've accomplished themselves, right? I mean, it's all about getting that satisfaction that I attempted to quit by myself. All right, so that transitions back to our original topic, which is the initiation of tobacco flavor. So we said even within 24 hours, if you tried tobacco flavor and all of a sudden it's just not doing it for you, make sure that you have a flavored product to transition and try something else as well too. Everybody's taste buds are different. Everybody's. Right? There's no set period, or you're going to vape tobacco for a week and then immediately you're going to transition to a flavored product. You might continue to vape a tobacco product. You might quickly, within a couple of days, want a flavored product. To me, it probably happened, I want to say 3 weeks after I started vaping Feel. I was buying these Parliament cartomizers from V2 pre-filled. And so I bought a 4-pack, and then I bought a 10-pack, then I bought a 48-pack because they had a special and like a coupon code or whatever. So this 48-pack of Parliaments comes in, and within the first or the second cartomizer, I screw it on. I'm like, oh, this tastes like crap. What the hell happened? So
and you got 46 of them left.
I got
right?
46 of them, and not only that, I am thinking that it's a bad batch. I'm thinking that they screwed up something. So I literally picked up the 800 number. That's what I'm going to tell you one thing about V2. And they might not be the brightest tool, but they pick up the phone. They have a customer service. So I pick up the phone, the 800 number. I call and I said, "Listen, I ordered 48 of these damn things. They're not taste the same." And they're like, "No, sir." I mean, they were very nice and polite. Thanks to ECF. I got on the forum and I started to read, and I was like, man, it was, and I got stuck with all these cartomizers. I didn't know what to do with it. But again, that's not the issue. The issue was that what happened is my taste buds came back. So when my taste buds came back, that same cartomizer, maybe 2 hours before that I was trying, it just didn't taste really good. So I had to quickly transition and get some flavored product and other stuff like that. So everybody's very, very different.
Absolutely.
However, sometimes as well, when you're vaping a flavor constantly, you do run into a situation where you just don't taste it anymore, For me, it rarely happens because I'm a very heavy menthol vapor. I mean, my stuff will make hair grow on your chest. I vape really,
your taste buds are all dead at this point anyway, aren't they? That crap that you vape.
I just like to crush my throat. Like even when I sub-ohm, I sub-ohm like 6 milligram heavy menthol. It's called twisted menthol. So I think for me it's not, but for other people, what happens, especially with a lot of the sweeter liquids and tobaccos as well too, you might experience something, feel the dreaded vapor's tongue. So let's talk about vapor's tongue.
We can. You want to talk about it? Oh, look, it's on me, so it must be me. It's funny that you were going to bring up vapor's tongue in this video because just a couple reviews back, I talked about vapor's tongue, and I actually have a theory on vapor's tongue. It's kind of like the reverse of what vapor's tongue has become known for. So what vapor's tongue is when you just vape a single flavor for an extended period of time, and all of a sudden you're like, why do I like this flavor? It doesn't taste good anymore. There's something wrong. There's not enough flavor. So what's going on, right? And it's just your taste buds or however it works, it gets too used to the flavor that you're vaping. So it's time to switch it up. So what I always say is take that flavor that you love so much and just put it aside for a little while, right? Get another flavor, vape that new flavor for a while, maybe an extended period of time. And then when you go back to your all day or your favorite flavor, you're going to vape that and you're going to be like, oh my God, yes, this is everything that I remembered that is great about this liquid. It's important to switch it up. Now, what I said, as a matter of fact, when I switched it up, I switched it to 5 Castle Long, right? Yeah. Because that's very, very different. It's a very, very different
completely
profile.
From your profile.
What's that?
Completely different than what you're used to with the fruit
exactly
stuff.
Right. And I enjoyed that for a couple of days. All right, everything kind of cleared out, and then I went right back to my fruity flavors, and they were all fruity and delicious again, right? Yeah. But what I said in that video, I think the opposite is also true a little bit. I think if you switch up too much, right? Especially in the same category, right? If you're just in fruits and you're like vaping a different fruit every single day, or if you like bakeries and you're vaping a different bakery every single day, then I think your taste buds will get confused. And you have the potential where like everything gets kind of jumbled and mixed up. You don't know what you're vaping anymore. And maybe things all start to taste the same. So, you know, vapor's tongue is a very, very real thing. We've all experienced, at least I've experienced. I know Dimitri has, right?
Sure.
So I think it's important to switch up, but maybe not switch up too much. Maybe give that new flavor that you are using a try. And I almost equate this to music when I was DJing, right? Because the best songs that I played were the songs that grew on me, not the ones that I listened to and I either just didn't like it or I listened to it and I loved it. It's the ones that I got used to that seem to work the best for the dance floor. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but I'm trying to equate it to something a little different.
It really does. Here's a really good comment by Brian Sage in the chat. And I love when vapors have just really constructive input. I love it, guys. I really appreciate you helping the smokers that might be in the chat or listening on the replay. So the comment from Brian Sage is, how many times you fellas came across something and said, that's it, this is as good as it gets, then stock up only to find something improved in a week or two? And it does happen with liquid all the time. To me, especially in my beginning journey, my first 2-3 years of vaping, I used to go through this all the time. The Strapple from Raw Vapor, I absolutely loved it. I stocked up, got like 260, 360 ml bottles. All of a sudden, it just snapped. I got stuck with them. It happens all the time. So especially if you're a transitioning smoker to vapor, don't go too crazy with the flavors. Don't think that you found this one flavor and then just, you know, get tons of these bottles and then it might absolutely change. So yeah, that's a very, very good comment, Brian, and thanks for putting it in.
And that's absolutely true. I mean, I could remember some flavors that I was really, really hooked on. Yeah. Tribute was one of them. How long was I vaping Tribute for?
For
right?
a very long time.
And when I go back to it today, it doesn't do it for me anymore. There was another flavor from Flavors by Joe. It basically it smelled and tasted like suntan lotion, and I loved it at the time. And now it's like I can't even vape it anymore. And that's something that's going to happen too. You know, and that could be your taste buds evolving. Things change. When you were young, maybe you didn't like Brussels sprouts. Now maybe you like Brussels sprouts. That could be something that's happening as well.
A couple more tips for the vapor's tongue. Smell coffee beans. That always helps. I mean, if you go to a perfume store or a Bilks or somewhere they sell, you'll see they have coffee beans up there. That's what they have them for, because you smelling all these perfumes kind of refreshes your senses. Also, citrus. If you drink orange juice or lemonade or something like that, that kind of helps kick in your taste buds as well too. Just a couple more tips that can help you brush your teeth a little bit more. Here's a question that we've touched on in the past, but since this is the Smoker Show, I do want to address it. This is coming from Steel City, New York. He has taken friends into the local vape shop to intro them into vaping. These guys can smoke filterless cigarettes like chimneys. They pick up an MTL device and cough like crazy, and they were turned off. So we've covered this many times, but I want Phil to one more time. By the way, you see my I voted sticker? I'll put it on there first.
Oh, that's nice. Mine was on my shirt, and I put it in the washing machine.
All right.
So we're going to go through that again. Okay.
Just hit it one time.
Here's what you got to tell people that do that, because it's so frustrating when I hear that, and I tell this story all the time, right? But I want these people who are turned off when they try it once and they cough instantly and boom, that's it. They're done. We don't like it. Okay. I want them to think back, okay, to the first day they picked up a cigarette and the first time they inhaled from a cigarette. What did they do? What was the experience? Did they go, oh my God, that is so smooth and delicious? No, they probably coughed and they probably hacked, yet they took another puff. And then they had another cigarette. And then before you know it, number one, they don't cough anymore. And number two, they're hooked on cigarettes, right? So if somebody coughs, first of all, there are some things that you can do, right? You can increase the VG. You can try assault nicotine. You can lower your nicotine. There's a lot of different things you could do, okay? But if the issue is coughing, I want them to give a healthier method of getting your nicotine as much of a chance as they gave that original cigarette, because chances are they coughed when they first smoked, yet they smoked through it.
Yeah.
Give the e-cig the same chance.
Yeah, I think it's very, very important. They try it one time, like, oh, the process of inhaling vapor is so much different than smoke, right? The electronic cigarette does most of the work for you. So it's a different pull. It's a different inhale. So even if you do cough the first couple of times, just kind of work it through. I mean, you want to quit smoking. Just a little bit of sacrifice. It won't hurt you. Just a little bit of sacrifice. It definitely won't hurt you. All right, let's take just a really, really quick break.
Hello, James Jarvis.
We'll be right back. And you can find the Joytech Taros and other products on my vapor store, myvaporstore.com. MTL10 is the code for there. We certainly appreciate My Vapor Store for being a sponsor on here. You know, it's sponsors are very, very important to keep this show going. So we certainly appreciate everybody that has shown faith into me and Phil continuing with the Smoker Show. Right, Phil?
Absolutely. And they have to make that commercial exactly 10 seconds longer, and I will be able to complete my coffee time.
All right. I do want to bring up one website, just a little study. This is just kind of a bit confirming, you know, what we have said here in the past. You know, I always like to bring up stuff here when there's actual science that goes behind, even though we know the same thing, and that is nicotine consumption. We've talked about this in a previous episode here on the Smoker Show, if you want to go back and see in detail about nicotine. But there is a study out that pretty much confirms what we have been saying all the time. Lowering your nicotine does not mean that you're intaking lower nicotine. All that's signifying in this 12-month study that was done was that by lowering the nicotine, you increase your intake. Here, vapers, they had 27 experienced vapers that reduced most of their nicotine concentration in e-liquid over 12 months. Usually from about 14 milligrams down to 4.4 milligram on average. No significant changes were found in their saliva. They test the cocaine in the saliva to find the concentrations. So what they found is that by going into the subliming or lowering the nicotine, they increase the consumption over a period of 12 months. So the conclusion here is very, very interesting, in my opinion. It's something that we've talked about, self-titration all the time. Reducing the concentration of nicotine in the liquid over time by maintaining their nicotine intake, possibly through self-titration via more intensive puffing. Now, a lot of this is kind of scientific talk because this is scientists that are doing it. The findings suggest that there might be little benefit in reducing nicotine e-liquid concentration, since this appears to result in just a higher consumption, which may incur both in financial and health costs. Very, very interesting to see the financial aspect here. Gaining an understanding of underlying reasons for lowering e-liquid concentrations would be a useful line for empirical inquiry. Now, basically, just to bring it into the layman's terms here, you're going to lower your nicotine, you're going to intake more. Basically, the nicotine that your body wants, it will tell you. It will say, hey, Dimitri, I need more nicotine, vape more, consume more. That way I can intake more nicotine. So it's not going to change the amount of nicotine. It's just going to increase your consumption. And by increasing your consumption, you're increasing that unknown, right? Nicotine, we've talked about in the past. PG has been around for a very long time. When you talk about flavorings and you're increasing the intake of flavorings, that's kind of the unknown in vaping. Way less harmful than cigarettes, but you're increasing that less harmfulness as well too. Phil.
Right. Hold on. I'm answering a question.
Okay.
Called Castle Long reserve.
Awesome.
Okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, nicotine consumption.
Well, I mean, it's what we've been saying all along, right? You know, people get very excited. They get very happy that they drop their nicotine level. And my question is always, are you vaping more, right? And the answer is sometimes yes. And they're vaping more, and there's more exposure. You know, I think I personally don't want to reduce my nicotine level. Number one, I enjoy my nicotine. Number two, I don't want to vape more than I already do. So some people will argue, well, salt, why aren't you using, you know, a higher nicotine salt? For the most part, I don't like salts. I don't like the way they make me feel. I don't like the throat hit that I get from salt. So salts are just not for me. They might be for other people, and that's just fine, right? But not for me. But I mean, that report backs kind of what we have been saying. You know, the body self-titrates, and when you drop your nicotine level, you kind of crave more, and you may potentially vape more.
I do want to say that this is available on NCBI website.gov. We'll have the link in tasteyourjuice.com on the replay. And for those of you that are interested in reading the entire thing. I think that the nicotine aspect of vaping, for us that are ex-smokers, is very, very important. How much nicotine and how much we're dependent on it, it's just basically your body telling you. Listen to your body. There's people that are able to even go down to 0 milligram and just continue to vape from the enjoyment of it. If you're able to do that, fantastic. That is great. There's nothing wrong with vaping 0 milligram. There's nothing bad about it. If you're able to do that, fantastic. And for other people, they need to maintain. I know a lot of people that continue to use 18 and 24 and 36 milligram nicotine because their body craves it and they need it. So I think that the nicotine aspect should be kind of removed out of the equation of vaping and just let your body respond to what it wants, what it needs.
And you know, things may change. Things may change in the future as the younger generation grows up, and you know how and if they even continue to intake nicotine. But you know, for those people who are watching the show, keep in mind who the show is for.
Right.
This show is not for younger people. This show is not for people who are not smoking and not vaping. This show is designed for adult smokers who maybe are looking for a way to get their nicotine in a safer form. That's the purpose of this show. That's who we want to talk to.
And that's why it's called The Smoker Show. Right? All right, question. I love the 𝘀𝗽𝗲 with the Xenotech. Not a fan of the liquid I got with it, but the tank works. And as a future ex-smoker, I'm very excited about the product. Great, Christopher. Go to a vape shop and then try to find a flavor that works very... I mean, flavors are so subjective. And so it's, I mean, you know, I vaped mentholated green peach tea from Android Delaware Vapor for how long, Phil? I mean, for 3 years, I crushed it.
And what's crazy is I like their green peach tea without the menthol. And if I have it with the menthol, I don't like it at all.
And you like it now. Like you revisit it now and you really like it. Me, I can't stand it now. I mean, I vaped it it was coming out of my eyeballs. Right now, I can't stand it. I don't know if it's because there's not enough menthol for me inside, but I just don't like it. I think my taste buds have become... but that absolutely happens. But the flavor,
which is really interesting because Dimitri and I, for those of you who don't know, although we bust balls constantly, we are very, very similar in just about everything. As a matter of fact, and I hope he has them with him. Dimitri is his close vision is going at the same exact age.
I don't have it. I have it inside.
That mine did. So he had to go to the eye doctor and get cheaters. So every time I put my cheaters on, he would laugh at me. Ha ha ha. So funny how it's happened to him as well, right? Even though we are exactly alike in so many different ways, we clash when it comes to e-liquid flavors, right? We do not like the same thing, and that's okay. That's okay. You have to find what works for you.
I posted this picture yesterday of, by the way, it sucks so bad. It really does. Nice. My daughter turned 16, and I literally had to go get an eye exam. I haven't taken an eye exam in 17 years. And let me tell you something. I had 2015 vision. 2015. I mean, this is not no joke.
So did I.
And I look at this picture, FML. I look at this picture. I was like, man, I had to use reading glasses to actually post that to type it into my phone because I can't see very well. So that's just another thing that feels going to be busting my chops over.
Yes, and I because of all the years that every time I put my cheaters on, you laughed at me. I will completely enjoy laughing back at you now. Yes.
Retro Care, Phil, off topic. Are you ever going to make a retrospective video about vaping, what we used to use back then, and how's it evolved? We discuss about doing it here on the Smoker Show. I think it'd be a fun thing to do. I don't think it would bring any kind of benefit to the smokers, because I think that the smokers are looking for products like we're going to talk about today, the Endura 2. Very, very excited for this product to be on the market. But we might do it on a Smoker Show just for fun. Why not? I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff back there that you guys are going to be really, really into. I'm sure Phil, well, Phil's, you're in the Florida layer, so I don't know. You probably have to get some stuff from New York. But,
yeah.
But yeah, I think we can do it here in the Smoker Show, maybe towards the holidays. So we'll have like a little fun Christmas show and give away a bunch of stuff. And
yeah, I mean, I back in Rochester, I definitely have the history of regulated devices there for sure, and some older and some classic mechanicals as well. So yeah, we would have to plan that out, and I would have to bring some stuff here.
Phil Bissardo, thanks for all you're doing. Going to try and work on getting a set for my mother-in-law, mother and father-in-law, smokers of 35 years. Well, Jordan, maybe you call in later. Maybe we can hook you up with something.
Yeah, give us a call, Jordan.
Question from Barbie. I wanted to thank you for helping my fiance when you sent him that vape and juice. He has not had a cigarette within 24 hours, so thank you. Oh, congratulations, Barbie.
That is wonderful, Barbie. Congratulations.
We're very, very happy to hear that. Also, this is a kind of a little offset question, but anyway, to remove the what was it? I missed it. Where is it, Bill? I lost it. Oh, I have an Aries MTL and was wondering, is there any way to clean the top seal that has become stained? No, unfortunately, no. You're just gonna have to maybe put it in an ultrasonic, or I think ultrasonic works very well, or soak it in a little bit of vodka and water. Just let it sit for a couple hours and then just take it out and rinse it out really well.
Retro Care, the lava tube, the Pro-Very killer, the lava tube. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of killed. The Pro-Very's kind of dead now anyway. So maybe it is. All right, let's move on to the next.
Hold on, Tracy, Rochester, New York.
Yeah, New York from Rochester. All right, very, very excited, Phil. We saw this in July when we were in China. Give a little bit of input on the designing and some of the features that we're going to see on this. I am going to do a quick unboxing for you guys here. This is the Endura 2 by Innokin. And before I get into the unboxing, Phil, just a little bit of history on this product, if you don't mind. Just kind of remind everybody how this product came about and what it has actually done for smokers.
Well, I mean, the Endura came out. How many years ago did the original Endura come out?
Oh boy, at least I'm gonna say 5 years ago.
I would say
that's like 20 years in normal years.
Yeah. And you know, when I tried that, I did a very different kind of video. I did a very very basic kind of an informational, kind of welcoming smokers. I invited people who had smokers in their lives to watch the review, because I was just so blown away by how closely it simulated a cigarette. Now, there's a lot of good devices out there, and there's a lot of devices that do a good job. But I thought everything about it, the warmth of the vapor, the tightness of the draw, the size of the mouthpiece, the flavor that I was getting from it, it really shocked me. And since that day, if anybody asked me, you know, I'm looking to get into it, what should be my first device? And I always say that the Innokin T18, even when they put the T20 out there and they said, you know, talk about the T20. No, it was the T18. That was the one that closely represented the experience from a cigarette. So I would say that I recommended the T18 more than any other device for a starter kit. It's just been fantastic, and now they've made some improvements to it. We did have some input to the device and the functionality of the device,
the interface.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I remember drawing the
little lights
on the board there in China. But you know, it continues to be an outstanding product, and it just gives the user just a little bit of adjustability, and it's not like a big swing. It doesn't get very tight or very loose. It doesn't get very underpowered or very overpowered. They're just very, very tiny little adjustments that you can have just to make a better experience for you. So Dimitri, why don't you go ahead and do the unboxing?
Yeah, here it is. I've been using mine since I got it in, and I'm very, very satisfied. One of the good things about this, obviously, Phil, is that it takes the existing coils that are on the market, which is very, very important. Innokin has kind of stuck with that since we came on board. So the products that are going to be compatible with the newer versions that are coming out. Box, pretty standard, what we would expect to come from Innokin, the kind of slat out packaging. This is the back of the box. The books, if you want to see the back of the box. I don't know why you would like to see it. You open it up, and there's the device. You'll see the tank is kind of separated from the device itself. Let me go ahead and open this little accessory tray that they have on this side. You're going to get a micro USB. And I think it's about time that we moved past this micro USB in again. I really think it is time.
I'm tired of had 5 million of those things.
They must have mountains of these USBs over there. You're going to have one extra replacement coil in a little black baggie. You're going to have an extra mouthpiece. I like this is something that Innokin has been doing ever since we got the Zenith out. They put 2 different styles of mouthpieces. This is not just an extra one. It just gives you a little bit different form in your mouth. A couple extra O-rings there. And then tons and tons of literature, as we're expecting to see from Innokin. We do have a warranty card. We have a battery safety guide here on the bottom. Just a lot of great information for people to make sure that they're safe while they're using their devices. Another card down here, which is a little quick starter guide showing you how to put everything together and how to fill it. And inside
just to point
here,
out, Dimitri, before you pull the device out, close that flap, because I really like what they did as soon as you open up the device there. A quick pictorial representation of how the device goes together and how to operate that. And I think that's fantastic. I think the English is clean. There's no Chinglish there. It's done really, really well. And I really like that the direction that they're taking there.
Absolutely. Here you're going to find the tank, if I can get it out. It's pressed in through it. There's the device itself. Some really, really nice finishes. I do want to show you all the colors that are available for this device. And, you know, this is, again, something that Innokin's been doing about dual colors. You see the black one there on the far end. Then you have kind of like a brownish to silver, and then a blue to silver, then the rainbow, and then, of course, the Dimitri pink coming up to the stainless steel, too. So a lot of really nice, fun colors. This is the rainbow.
They're calling the Dimitri pink a purple, which I don't know, it looks more pink to me.
It looks more pink on the picture for
and they're calling the brown one a coffee. I actually quite like that. I like devices that are done well in brown.
Yeah, and then a little bit more adult looking, I think, as well too. So there's the device. There's your fire button. Phil's going to go through all that on the menu and how to operate it. This is your connector on top. You know, one of the things that the T18 did not have is airflow, and now we actually have airflow adjustability that's actually built in onto the device instead of being built on to the tank itself. And a nice little cool thing, we saw this as well too in China. This is a little mouthpiece protector that's actually magnetic. You'll see here on the bottom is little magnets. Well, actually, I think there's magnets in the top cap. And as you put it on there, just snaps it in there. That will protect your mouthpiece. It's not going to come on. And if you do take it off, whoop, it will go down on the bottom of the device too, so you won't lose it. I already lost mine, I'll be honest with you. It's like every other mouthpiece of a device that I have. But yeah, there it is in short. Put it all together, just kind of show you what it looks like. You know, I mean, these devices are very, very vital. And you can say whatever you want about Innokin or any company that makes starter kits still to this day. These products are vital. These products are vital for converting smokers, because you can get into the 200-watt game, and there's literally hundreds of devices and tanks out there, but not enough of these on the market to actually convert smokers as they are. And that is a quick unboxing of the Endura. I want to turn it over to you, Phil, and you give us a little bit more detail. The books.
Yeah. See, I've actually been using mine so much, I'm actually charging it right now. There it is on my charger. So Dimitri lost his top cap. I actually did something completely different because I'm so used to seeing on a lot of the kits that I get in these giant mouthpieces. I just picked it up and tried to vape it with the mouthpiece on. Doesn't work. Ladies and gentlemen, very
sure?
Before
Did you try
it? That should be number one. That should be number one in their instruction manual, to first remove the mouthpiece, because it works so much better when you do that first.
Absolutely.
So Innokin, first of all, it is a little bit taller than the original Endura T18, but the original Endura T18 had a 1,000 milliamp hour battery. Now we have a 1,300 milliamp hour battery. And in its medium setting, I got through a full day on this, and I was actually quite surprised. I didn't think I would, but I did. So they've kind of moved away from the yellow, green, and red surround that they have on their switches, and this uses a 3 LED system. So to turn the device on, it's still using the 3-click that Innokin is known for. So 3 clicks turns the device on and off. And you'll see like a little scroll on the LEDs. When it turns on, it goes from the left to the right. When it turns off, it goes from the right to the left, which I think is a cool idea. Probably because, no, that was Paul's idea. So when the device is turned off, that's when you could select your power setting, right? And I'm just calling them low, medium, and high. There are actually wattages associated with those settings. They are 10.5 watts, 12 watts, and 13.5 watts. So like I said before, just tiny little adjustments to dial things in. But anyway, you click and you hold the fire button, and I know this image is really, really terrible, but it'll start to scroll between the first LED, the middle LED, and the last LED, which is scrolling between the low, the medium, and the high setting. When you're on the setting that you want, you let go of the fire button, and then you turn the device. I thought I was making a review video just then. I was like, I have to edit this out.
You were in the groove, baby.
I did. I went right into it. So you click the button 3 times again to turn the device back on, and the device comes back on. Now, when you push the fire button, the LED that corresponds to the setting that you're in, and boy, do I wish they had this system on the Innokin EQ, right? The LED will light up telling you what setting that you're in, so you don't have to remember the setting that you're in. And then when you release the button, the LEDs will flash twice at you, depending on the charge status of the battery. If the battery is full, all 3 LEDs are going to flash. If the battery is half, 2 of the LEDs are going to flash twice. If the battery is low, getting ready to the time when it's going to shut itself down, only 1 LED will flash. And then eventually you're going to use it. All 3 LEDs are going to flash 5 times at you, and the device is going to shut off, letting you know it is time to charge the device. So it's a really simple, elegant little interface. It does the job. It gives you the information that you need, both in your setting and the level of your battery. And that's it. That's the interface. And of course, the other big difference between this one and the original one is we also have an airflow control now. Okay, so you have this little ring on here. It does have 2 stop points, either fully closed or fully opened. And I can say, like I said in the video, there's not a lot of difference here. It's just a very, very slight, very, very subtle change. Mouth to lung all the way, no matter what setting that you're in. But compared to the T18, the original one, I noticed fully open, it's just a little bit more loose than the original one. Fully closed, it's just a little more tight than the original one. They're just, like I said, subtle differences, but it does give the user some more options. That's the T18II.
Yeah, I did see a comment from JOP. I'm trying to quit. Tried both the stick like and the pods and wasted tons of money, but they're not satisfying. Even though my budget is tiny now, is there anything that you can recommend? Is that satisfying? And I think this is what the Endura 2 will do. I think that adjustability, slight adjustability, is, I think, you can't get that from a standard stick battery that you can't adjust. A lot of them work for a lot of people, but there's some people that do need that adjustment. They need that oomph, as Phil says, a little punch. Guess what? With this, you can do it. You can dial it up a little bit. I have it on the 2nd setting. That's where I like this coil. That's where I like my liquid. So you have that adjustability of airflow, and you have the adjustability of power as well, too. Even though it's a very subtle, right, small, that might be just the little kick that you need for that 12 milligram or 18 milligram liquid to give you a little bit more satisfaction. So, yeah,
I think what you just said there is actually quite important, Dimitri, because there's a lot of devices that are coming out that look like this that are underpowered because they're designed for salt nicotine, right? This is, I mean, although you can put salt nicotine in here, certainly, right? It's not, this works terrific with standard nicotine, right? So, I mean, I get an unbelievably, if this was the only thing that I had to vape for the rest of my life, I would be satisfied.
Yeah.
This would do it for me. Right?
And which is interesting because there is a question in the chat. How about I compare it to the 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝘀 AIO? That's a lot. But it's completely different because the 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝘀, in my opinion, was designed for salt nicotine. I mean, that small coil that's in there, you know, it doesn't have that adjustability. So you're going to get that very, very low wattage. I think Phil tested it out, what, at 6 watts it was putting out, or 6.9,
yeah,
Phil?
It's very low. I mean, the whole idea behind that device is, you know, because they were touting it as a very long, like, incredible battery life. And the incredible battery life is simply because they run it very low. I mean, it runs a very, very low wattage. If you're interested in nicotine salts, that's a good solution for you, okay? But if you don't like the nicotine salts and you do like the standard nicotine, and you are like an 18 or 12 milligram vapor,
Hello.
I wouldn't recommend the Joytech Eco. I would recommend the original Joytech AIO.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is a better product for a standard nicotine, much like the new Endura T18II.
Absolutely. It's really interesting because in your video on this product, you said that every vape shop in the United States should have that. And unfortunately, we're not seeing that. We're not seeing vape shops carry these inexpensive, great performing products that can work with regular nicotine, something that helped millions of people quit smoking between 2011 and 2015. We're just not seeing it anymore.
Yeah, and you know, when I said that, I absolutely meant it. I absolutely not because of my relationship with Innokin.
Absolutely not. No.
But because it is an important product. It's an important product to have in your vape shop. The same way you have 50 different direct lung tanks and 25 mods that do 100 to 200 watts. There should be a bunch of these devices in there sitting next to the Joytech Ego AIO. Or there should be all of these kinds of devices for all kinds of people that vape in all different kinds of ways, and give them more of a selection and more choices to get off of their traditional tobacco cigarettes.
Here's a comment from Asphalt Cowboy. My shops in town have nothing for the smokers. Made a dual user out of me until a week ago. Took y'all's advice, got a Zenith and an Aries, and now I'm MTL/cloud dual user. Absolutely, my friend.
Love it.
Absolutely. I like to blow a few clouds myself. Phil will tell you. Phil calls me a cloud chaser when I pull out the 𝗀𝗵𝗲 and I hit it. I just like the flavor and I like the intensity of it, but I can't vape like that all day. That's not what's satisfying to me all day. But I do have a setup there. If this was the only device that I had right now, I have 12 milligram, my all-day vape inside here. If this was the only device that I had, there's no way I'm having another cigarette. It is satisfying. It performs great. That adjustability, putting on that second. And again, you're going to say, oh, you're touting it because Innokin's your sponsor. No. Pick it up and try it yourself, and then you come back and you tell me. If you vape this way, this performs for a pen type vape, performs fantastic. I really, really
It really does. And flavor-wise, too. I love the flavor on this thing. In its category, I think it has some of the best flavor on the market.
It's chucking the clouds, too. And also, one of the things that we've always said about the Endura is the coil position. The coil position is higher, closer to the mouthpiece, giving you more of that realistic cigarette-type draw. It's a little bit more intense, a little bit more warm. All those factors, you put them together, this is a great starter kit in every vape shop in the world. And not just the United States. Well, there's tons of them in the EU where there's a lot of MMTL and conversions. But every vape shop in the world should carry this product and have it on board to convert.
What else about the coil is different, buddy?
What else about it is different?
Than most other designs out there.
It's not a BBC. It's a top coil.
Well, it's a top coil, but it's a horizontal coil, not
it's a horizontal coil. Correct. Yeah, it's not a vertical coil. Again, this is it might sound like it's old technology, but it really isn't. It's actually technology that works. That's why you continue.
And it's interesting because I think I've always said that I prefer a vertical coil to a horizontal coil, or I take that back. A horizontal coil.
But that's how we build. That's how we build in our areas and all that. We use horizontal coils in that because the flavor, in my opinion, is better.
You think about it. I would say 90% of the rebuildables out there use horizontal coils.
Absolutely, more than 90. Yeah. I totally agree, but the flavor is there, the satisfaction is there, and I can't see any reason why anybody would not have that. So, great job to Innokin for sticking to their original goal, and that's to help smokers. Can you combine this? I'm gonna tell you what, and this, these two together, I mean, you're gonna spend $30-40. You're gonna quit smoking. Period. I mean, if you want to quit smoking, I should say that. This right here, there's just no way that you're not. In my opinion,
I agree with you. Like I say a lot, there are so many good quality products, this being one of them out there. If you can't find something, if you can't find that device liquid combination for yourself to get off of cigarettes today, you just don't want to quit. It's mind over matter. You just don't want to quit.
I totally agree. All right. Over the weekend, we were in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, I was in Montreal, Canada.
Ohio, right? We were there too. And London, Ohio.
And London, yeah. Where they have a lot of pizza shops. Figured that about London. London, Ohio, population 8,000, 9,000 pizza shops. But I was in Montreal for a couple of days, and we met in Philly with Phil. and then we flew up to give a seminar, back to the basics seminar, for the Vapor Station. First of all, I'm going to show you a little video of the shops and kind of the setup that our good friend James Jarvis has. This is a little bit more for smokers, but it's also for employees and vape shop employees and vape shop owners. Kind of giving you a little idea, and I think a lot of you will agree that this is a situation that you as a smoker or a vape shop employee have maybe possibly run into. So let's take a tour first. One of the things that James does here that's kind of unique to the vape shops that I have seen is, instead of having all the stuff behind on a display counter, he has things lined up on an upright cabinet where people can just come up to it and see it. It's not just like kind of down like we're used to more in vape shops.
All right, tell me about this this table right here.
This is my pride and joy. So in every store of mine, you walk in, and this is right in the middle of the store for one reason. I want to make sure it grabs people's attention. I've got our local congressman, his information right here. I've got our local state representative, our local state senator, all their information for people to grab. I've got ways to get a hold of them. I've got the latest guidance from VTA, battery safety, reminders of what's going on, and then a letter recently about what's going on with labeling. And why we decided to go through and actually remove labels that question.
And this is always right here. So as soon as you walk in the shop, that's what people walk into.
Every store has that on.
Every store.
So we started a battery recycling program for OHVTA about 4 months ago. We purchased a bucket at $70. It holds 35 pounds of batteries. You get a certificate of reclamation off of it, so whenever you do meet with your local representatives, you can show them that you're actually doing something for the environment. We're saving a lot of nasty stuff from going into the landfills by doing this. Plus, we also give a 10% discount whenever you bring your batteries in on a new set.
Nice.
And so once that thing fills up, you just take the label, send it back to them, and they send you another box or another bucket, and they actually have a prepaid sticker on it. So every one of the shops has that. I think Nick and Dolores also have it in their shops. So does Cincy Vapers down there. And I think we've got a total of about 45 stores so far in the U.S. on this program.
That's terrific. All right, so this is your new shop. Where's this one located?
This would be London, Ohio.
London, Ohio.
20 minutes outside of Columbus. So we've got senator that supports vape, congressman out here that we've met with several times that supports vape. This is our local state senator, local state representative, and then City Council of London. All their information. Obviously, you've got your ID, age. Again, taking your advice, we're going to redo the shelves. Like what you guys talked about. I think it's a great idea. So we're definitely going to do that. Got Figgy's other line. Feels good.
Who?
Figgy.
Who?
Figgy. We love Figgy.
I love Fig.
I love Fig too.
He's just a happy guy.
Yes, he is. I'm proud of him.
This is a big space.
It is.
Do you have future plans for this, or are we done?
I think we're going to be done. Maybe one more case.
You could play sports in here.
Right. So we talked, and we're going to make.
I'll go all the way over here and film it from this side. Hey, @𝗵𝗵, how you doing down there?
Hey, Tommy, I can't hear you.
really nice shop, and one thing that you'll notice is that he carries everything, and when you hear in the interview here, you're gonna understand that that James, like a lot of people in this industry, unfortunately kind of fall into that trap of chasing, the latest and the greatest, and now they've changed their whole model, going back to carrying a smaller selection of products, a wider variety of products, but they even have Cardo stick batteries available, because if that's what you want to quit smoking, then you got to have it. A lot of starter stuff, a lot of good nicotine selections. They carry higher PG liquid, higher nicotines as well too. So I really enjoy seeing James and the entire crew, because they had a really fantastic crew, a lot of good people that work for them, go back to the basics, which is basically the seminar that me and Phil do.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to add?
No, yeah, I'm answering people here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
okay.
there's nothing.
Well, hire assistant.
You do such a good job. Believe me, I'm taking a break because when I did the show with Bill Tarling, I did most of the talking for a change. So this is nice. This is very relaxing for me.
Did a good job. All right, so let's get into the conversation, and I want a lot of people to listen to this. no matter what you are, smoker, vapor, business owner, employee, just anybody hanging out, I want you to listen to this conversation because I think it really resonates with the state of vape in the last couple of years here in the United States, and one of the things that has really, really, really hurt us.
So 10 years ago, 2008, I was asked by my friend Jason Gang to help him with this new venture that he wanted to start. He had purchased an e-cig for his mom for Christmas, and she absolutely hated it. Didn't like it, threw it in a drawer, and at that point in time, I think they were about $150 a device, roughly.
Yeah.
And so he grabbed it out of the drawer one day and started using it, and he had smoked for 18 years, and he quit in about 8 months total. Strictly just using a cig-alike. He got the bright idea at that point to share this with everybody else that he knew, and wanted to start an e-cig company, and asked me if, because of my background, I was in sales, asked me if I'd help him, and so we kind of started from there.
Your experience with the industry, how have you seen it change from when you got involved to where it is today?
So when we first got involved, like I said, it was...
Hold on a second. Is my ass on?
It might be.
Yeah, it's like my ass is hot.
Tell me you have that on camera.
It's on camera. It's on camera. Okay.
It's going to be my ringtone from now on.
That's fucking awesome.
My ass is hot. My ass is hot.
Ship that one to me because I'll use it too.
Oh, great. Okay. I'll make it available to everybody.
Awesome. All right. So, how have I seen the industry change? Well, when we first got into it in 2008, our very first kit that we were selling was the eHealth kit. And I think you're familiar with that.
Which is crazy because that was the very first e-cigarette that I bought.
Right.
Very first one, yeah.
Yeah, had the screw-in atomizer.
Yeah. Little plug-in thing, yeah.
Little foil pouch that was inside of the cartridge. I think those were running about $40 to $50 retail at that time.
Amazing, right?
And you got, I think it was six cartridges and 1 or 2 batteries, and the little plug came out of the side.
Yep.
We went and I put them in a few of my old carryouts, tobacco shops, for my previous life, and they just kind of sat there, and we maybe sold 1 or 2. It just wasn't going, and about 6 months later, we switched into a blister pack with 1 battery and 2 cartridges and a USB charger. Then you look at 4.5 years down the road, Jason decided to open up a vape shop. He saw the future in it. At that point in time, we were all carrying around syringes, and refilling our 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗍 at that point in time with the syringes, and I couldn't understand how he thought that there was a future in the industry with this. People are going to look at us like we're IV drug users because we have these syringes. At that point in time, he opened up a shop, and I remember the first real mod that we purchased was, I think, one of the Innokin 134s. I think is what we first had. Our first really big mod was an Innokin 134, and then the MVP. So you went from a cig-alike to, you had the Ego 650 batteries, and then the Twist or the VV Twist, and then the Innokin stuff. At that point in time, innovation was so fast; it was coming so quickly, but there was everybody in the industry was so new. It was just like they wanted to get to the store to get the next thing that came in.
Yeah.
And then it just opened the floodgates.
On that particular, let me just because this has a really good question here.
Sure.
On that C4 VV Twist era, how many people do you think that you converted from smoking to vaping?
God, I would say at our peak per store, we probably had about 65 to 70 customers a day at that point in time. And as the industry has changed and evolved, unfortunately, or fortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately. Fortunately, there have been more stores that have opened up, which has meant more customers overall to the industry, but customers per store has went down because
and
of
the conversion rate obviously
right.
has gone. I mean, do you remember specifically maybe in a store how many smokers would come in a day and that you were able to convert with a VV battery?
Out of that 60, roughly 65, I would say probably 60 of them. I mean,
converted.
And they started with either the cig-alike kit, or the 650 Ego, and then once the variable voltage came around, you really started seeing people flock to the industry.
Right.
I remember the Igo, I think it was the Igo 3 and 4 kits that came in a white box. They had a little round disc charger. You sat the battery on top of it.
Yeah.
We would probably go through 150 of those kits at least a week.
It's amazing.
Just amazing.
So if you convert it now to 2018, based on the data that you have now in your stores, how many people do you think that you convert now in today's world on a daily basis versus what you were doing back then?
I'd say less than probably 3 or 4 a week.
Yeah, it's amazing.
3 or 4 a week.
Those stats are just
really staggering and sad too.
Yep.
And what, in your opinion, what do you contribute that to?
You know, I think a lot of it is people are just intimidated. They don't understand what vaping is. They see all the negativity in the press. They see the fear-mongering from the FDA. And then they see vapors blowing huge clouds in public, and it kind of scares them off.
Do you think that the lack of equipment as well too plays a huge role? And just a little funny story here. Last night with the Uber that picked us up from the bar to take us to the hotel, the guy was a vapor, right?
Oh, nice.
So actually, he's been to your store multiple times. It was really, really funny. But
Awesome.
He told us the same thing. He says that when he started vaping about 3 years ago. He found himself really intimidated going in, and the equipment that they were trying to sell to him, and the overall look of vapors, and this really hobbyist enthusiast side that kind of took over the market, kind of deterred him. And also, what I found really interesting, he's a dual user. He still smokes. And the reason he attributes to that is, he's using a Baby Beast tank with, 3 milligram nicotine, and he says that he finds himself needing, that hit that the cigarette provides that he cannot get with this equipment.
Right.
So, do you attribute a lot of that simply because smokers can't find the right equipment in stores?
I think a lot of it has to come down to, the employees in the shop, honestly, because they're so comfortable with the devices they use. I think sometimes they forget about a smoker that wants to transition. I think they forget about, starting them off where they started off.
Yeah.
I think they want to push them into what they're using because they're comfortable with it. They understand it. They know it. They may not know some of the, older devices or the more beginner intermediate devices because they're used to using a 250 watt mod with a, a tank that has a .015 or 0.25 coil in it.
Yeah.
They don't think about those things when a smoker comes in. And I think I was telling you guys an interesting story I had from feedback. We had a female about a year and a half ago email our store or contact us through Facebook about she wasn't going to come back to the shop anymore because she felt intimidated because she didn't see any females working in the store, and the store was always filled with clouds.
Which I think is I think that's a turnoff to not only smokers, but also to people who are coming in the shop, and some vapors are turned off by that as well.
Yep. And so my response, obviously, I wanted to find out what was going on, and after I talked to her, I found out it was not our shop she was going into. It was one close to us, but it really made my wife and I think, we really need to share this information with the staff because I don't think they see it. You get into a routine, a habit, it's what you do. You don't realize sometimes that there are other contributing factors to why maybe sales are not going the way they are, or same old, same old. If you don't see it, you don't see it. You don't know what you don't know, right? I guess is the old adage there. So it really opened up our eyes a lot to really kind of want to address the fact that we are only converting less than 5 smokers a week. And why is that when a couple years before we were upwards of 50 to 60? It's just amazing to see, and I think a lot of it is the just multitude of products that started coming out on the market all at once. After with the VV, and then we had the first Evolve chip that came out.
Right.
Really changed the industry. It went from people using cigarette lights and maybe a less than 6 or 7 wattage device to now at that point we were going up to 25 and 30, I think.
It became a wattage race.
Right. It just changed, and then it went to temp control, which really changed everything. Again, we had to learn how to build. We had to learn Ohm's law, we had to learn a lot of new things. But again, it came so natural to the vapors that were in the shops and the hobbyists.
Right.
And sometimes the employees again would get a little bit confused by it, but because all the cool kids were doing it,
Right.
It just kind of went from an industry of saving smokers to what are the cool kids doing, and what's the next biggest device, the next biggest cloud? How can I get the next cool flavor? Yeah. You know, I'm guilty of, you know, 4 years ago, we were selling McDonald's Minion mods in the store. You know, and now you look 4 years later, I put my heart and soul into advocating against shit like that because I didn't know any better. I was a first-time business owner. Money was coming in. I thought it was neat. Right. You know, a guy brings a Minion mod in that he makes himself, throws a chip in it, and it starts working. People like it. I didn't think about it at the time, and now I'm embarrassed to say that I did it.
Right. And, you know, and I agree with that. But I think there's a learning aspect to it. I think we all grow and we mature, and we come to realize how important it is to represent the industry in the best way, you know, and not make it look like we're appealing to children, right?
Absolutely. You know, and if it wasn't for Demetrius, I watched him one time giving an advocacy speech on Facebook, I think it was, and it blew my mind, and he really resonated with me, so I reached out to him and we talked. Then I had a vape expo in 2016, and you came up for it. And it literally changed my life as far as vaping goes in my direction that I wanted to go.
And so let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
You, I mean, you're heavy into to advocacy. Talk to me about your involvement and your experience with advocacy.
So in 2016, I started calling my local state representatives and going down and meeting with them on my own because Ohio, you know, we had a state organization in 2015, I think 2014, right around there they started. Didn't have a whole lot of success with getting a bunch of shops in, but they did have, you know, 13 members. But again, at that point in time, everybody was selling the next coolest liquid, the next coolest device. We didn't understand that we've got to protect this because it's going to get out of control, which we learned that, you know, 2 years later. Started meeting with our reps, talking to them, and then I had that event that Demetrius came up to, and he actually sat myself and 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝘀 down and said, you guys need to work together. You know, we're not going to get anywhere unless 𝘀𝗵cie gets bigger and you guys work together. So that day, I actually joined 𝘀𝗵cie at that meeting, and we went from 13 members that weekend to over 45, just at that show alone. And then the end of the year, elections came, and I was elected to president of the association, which I've been now since 2017. It's been a whirlwind. I've learned so much about politics, about myself, about vape shops. You know, I've stuck my foot in my mouth a lot. You know, to politicians in the beginning, because I didn't really know what to say with passion that didn't offend them. I didn't know how to word it correctly. You know, thank God Charlotte, our lobbyist, got a hold of me and smacked the living shit out of me, basically, to train me to learn a little bit more tact. And you've got to speak to them a little bit differently. But the education piece is what really excites me when I get to sit down with a politician. And first question normally is, why do you guys market to kids? And my response is, we don't market to kids. We try to save smokers' lives by offering this technology. Right. And the next question is, what do you mean technology? So then you go into explaining what an e-cig is, how it works, and what we're really trying to do. And then you quote the World College of Physicians, Public Health England. You go through some other studies, and then you take apart a device, set it in front of them, and ask the politician, which part of this is backing it? I don't understand. And if we convert over 75% of our of smokers to vaping, and the approved methods only get less than 6%, it really opens up their eyes. Yeah. Especially whenever you take that device apart and ask them that question.
Yeah. You've also been very successful too. I mean, I think that needs to be said as well too. That after the rebirth of 𝘀𝗵cie and getting everybody together on the same page, whether you had disagreements with them in the past or not, you guys overlooked that, which I was really, really proud of you guys for doing that.
You've got to put the industry first. It's not a me thing. Yeah.
But ultimately, all boils down to results to me. Like, what have you done? And I think that you guys should be really, really proud of what you have defeated and what you have accomplished here in Ohio.
Yeah, first, I mean, if it wasn't for Scott Ely and, you know, and Rob Winslow from Malt Smoke and Adam Knudsen, if it wasn't for those three, 𝘀𝗵cie would never have been. So it was their, if it wasn't for their foresight, you know, into the future, 𝘀𝗵𝐶𝗄 would not be, and Ohio probably wouldn't be in the shape it's in.
Right.
I was very fortunate, breath of fresh air after a couple years, opened some eyes, and with Frank 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿, we just went out and went after it, and we've killed since 𝘀𝗵𝐶𝗄 started, and now we helped rewrite legislation for the child-proof cap law in Ohio. We supported the age 18 and up to vape. We've killed 3 tax attempts by Governor Kasich over the last 2.5 years, where he's tried to tax us at 98%, 69%, and 45%, and a floor tax. There's no flavor bans in Ohio right now. There's no indoor vaping bans in the state of Ohio. And like I said, it is still 18 and over. But what really is hurting us right now is all the little small municipalities that are coming up with the T21, and they're looking for flavor bans. And
what is T21 for people who don't know?
T21 is an ordinance that, like in Columbus, they adopted, where anybody under the age of 21 is not allowed to purchase vape products.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they can't use it; they just can't purchase it.
Okay.
And also with that in Ohio, in Columbus anyway, it comes with a $150 license fee per store per year.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
Just to kind of put it into perspective and come on the field there for everybody that's listening, what these public health groups did is they attempted to go at a state level. But thankfully, in a lot of the states were organized. We were able to crush T21 on a state level. We don't have the money or the capacity as state associations to be able to have local representation. So they took advantage of that because obviously these anti-tobacco control groups have tons and millions of dollars. So what they're doing is they're penetrating small municipalities and cities within the state and working with the local legislators into passing T21 laws in their municipality or county or city. And the reason why they're doing that is they're trying to get that going across 20, 30 cities. Then eventually they're going to go to the state and say, hey, look, almost half the state already has T21 in their cities. We need to make it a state law. So that is the play that they're making. That's why it's important to help out state associations. Like when you have to be aware of what's happening in your own city if you're a business. That way you can turn to your state association and say, hey guys, I need some help here. They're passing this law. It's impossible for me, for example, in Tennessee to know what's going on in every county or city in the state of Tennessee. We just don't have the staff or the funds to do that. So it's important for the local shops to get involved with our state association to try to defeat this on a local level.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we point out on our monthly conference calls is, hey guys and gals, you need to pay attention to what's going on in your city council. Subscribe to their newsletter. Join their city association, just so you can have input to let us know, because if we don't know, we can't fight it or help fix it. Okay. In Newark, Ohio, 2 months ago, they had a T21 law on the books where it was going to eliminate public vaping, to where you couldn't vape in a shop in public. They had a flavor ban, I think, attached to it too, which we got the flavor ban removed. We gave them the 21 and over, but we also got vape shops exempted, so you can still vape in there.
In your opinion, what are some of the biggest challenges, not just in Ohio but the entire United States, biggest challenges facing vaping right now, both internally and externally?
One, we've got to quit fighting with each other at the top. We have to. There's not one person that's going to save the industry. It's going to take a teamwork effort between everybody. So we've got to quit the infighting. Secondly, we've got to clean up our act in the stores or with the liquid manufacturers. They've got to get the cartoons off the labels. They've got to get the desserts and the candies off the labels. They've got to quit using IP infringement. We have to make sure on our watch that we're IDing every single customer that comes into that shop, whether they're 80 or they're 18. You've got to build a routine so it just automatically happens. You don't want to ever get caught with your pants down and make the industry look bad.
Right. And then I guess finally, so you have me and Dimitri here this weekend. You've shut down all of your shops, and you're having your managers and your staff get together. What are your hopes and goals, and what do you hope the results are going to be from having me and Dimitri talk to your people?
First, I want them to have fun for a day, where they're not worried about having to work. Secondly, when you have fun and you're with people that are like you and Dimitri that are just amazing, and the education piece just naturally comes from you guys. So my hope is that the staff takes a lot away from this on how to help convert more smokers, how to identify smokers, how to make sure that when a customer walks in the first few minutes that they earn the customer's trust by what they're talking about. Don't sell them the biggest device that we have. Don't take them to something that's going to put out choo-choo train size clouds whenever they may only need a device that is less than 15 watts and that has a 1.5 ohm coil on it. They don't need to go to the highest thing. I want them to relearn how to sell to smokers and bring more of those folks back in, because we have a lot of lives to save, and if we don't convert smokers, this industry is going to be done. No, I just really appreciate you guys coming out, man. This is excited about the opportunity when Ďemitrijus talked to me about it, and you guys again talked about it in I think that was Indiana. Is super ecstatic that this opportunity is here in this program, and I hope that any other shops or organizations that are out there, get a hold of Ďemitrijus and Phil and find out how you can do this for your shop. And I think we're missing the boat on a lot. I mean, there's still 40 million smokers out there to get, right? And we just need to know how to go fish for them. And I think this education piece that you guys are going to offer is going to help out a ton and hopefully change the mindset of the industry from inside out.
Yeah, we got to keep the vape shops alive. It's so important that the vape shops be around, and quality vape shops with quality people offering quality information to those people who are coming into the vape shops looking at a personal vaporizer for the very first time.
Yep, I think we as shop owners need to also not forget to educate the customer about what's going on externally with the FDA, with your local governments. A lot of times they come in, they buy their coil, their liquid, and they leave. We forget to say, hey, oh, by the way, this person supports us when it comes time to vote. Let's make sure we keep this person in office. Just this morning, oddly enough, on my way to pick up you guys, Congressman Steve Stivers added 2 pictures from my Facebook page to his page, asked to tag himself in it. Awesome. And that came from a DC meeting with VTA 3 months ago.
That's terrific.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy. He actually comes to this store every once in a while just to say hi. His office is about 1.5 miles down the road. He's been in here, I think, 3 times now. Just a super genuine guy.
And we're here. I mean, that could be better timing.
Right, we're here.
And sorry, I was muted. Yeah, it was a really, really awesome time there with James. And I just wanted to pull up a couple things that I took away from this. Number one, when we talk to the employees at the stores and we asked them about these conversion rates, we asked them, how many people did you use to convert? They said between 60 to 80 people a week at their stores. I mean, that's a lot of smokers. And now we're down to two to 3. I think that was just a staggering number to me, disappointing number. And the second thing that I want to pull out from this is that there's nothing wrong with admitting, as James did, that, hey, you made some mistakes, or you kind of chased the dragon like a lot of people did back in 2015, 2016, when things kind of shifted around, with the advancement of vapors and creating this entire vapor category of customers that we had in there. This ego that a lot of these vapes just don't want to admit it, I think is hurting overall the industry, but most of all, it's hurting the smokers.
No, I really enjoyed that interview. I enjoyed talking with James. I really like James's direction that he's wanting to take, and I want to talk more about the back to basics presentation that we're giving. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's so important to keep the smokers in mind, and the question becomes, why the lack of conversions? I mean, we still have 40 million smokers out there in the U.S. Yeah. What happened? And I'll go ahead and put that question out to the folks who are in the chat, and I'd like to hear from them. What do you think happened? Why did the conversion rate go down so low? I'll give you my thoughts first. Let's hear Ďemitrijus too. Here's what I think. I think number one, we lost focus of what we were doing as an industry. Right, it became not about tobacco harm reduction anymore. It became not about saving lives anymore, but it became about the clouds and the tricks and the hobbyists and the enthusiasts. And I just think that the industry itself lost direction for a while. I think it's getting back. I like the direction that it's taking now, but we lost track. Okay, we lost our direction. I think that's number one. Number two, I think a problem is the information that people are getting from mainstream media. The fear mongering and the bad news, and when the bad news is put out there without comparing that same bad news or that same thing that was found to that of a traditional tobacco cigarette, a combustible tobacco cigarette, I think that's a problem, right? I think the look of vaping became a problem, right? You know, people are people to me. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how you dress. I don't care about your age, your race, your religion. I don't care about any of that garbage. I treat everybody exactly the same way I'd want to be treated. But that's not how all people are. And when they look at how vaping is being portrayed, not only in mainstream media, but our own vaping publications, and you know, some of the you know, the reviews and some of the things that are going on in vaping and the drama, I think people are not trying vaping just because they don't want to be part of that. They don't want to look like a vapor. And then I think that one of the last things is, when has the term vape pen become so associated with marijuana that people think it's the same thing, that people think that all vapors are doing drugs? We're all vaping THC, you know, and I think that's a problem too. And, you know, I am not, I've said this so many times, guys, I am not down on the bud in any way, shape or form. Okay. But
verified. I want to verify that.
Go ahead. You can go ahead and verify that. Hint, hint. But I think it's becoming too intertwined. And I think those are the main reasons why we're not seeing the same conversion rate that we saw before. And vape shops too. I think the vape shops don't have the right products. They don't have the right mentality. They don't have the right look, and they're not welcoming to everybody. So those are my opinions on it.
You know, in my opinion, Phil, and it's very, very simple. Okay, in my opinion, the vape shops only catered to vapors. That's what it boils down to one group of customers that was created by converting them from smoking into vaping, and then they focused all their attention to catering to that one portion. I want to bring some pictures up here. This is from our and they're just a little, you just kind of show you what we were doing over there and just the crew that was hanging out. But we talk about this a lot in our presentation. We talk about identifying customers. Customers in 2018 still your number one customer will be the smoker. You know, the smoker is who we're targeting. This is who we're trying to reach. This is why we do what we do. But it's not the only customer today. The dual user is a huge customer base that nobody is touching. There are 4 times more dual users in the United States than there are vapors. 4 times. That's millions of people. You have the pod user. You have potentially the IQOS user that's going to come out. There's a lot of categories of customers in 2018 that we're just blindly shutting off because we're only focused to that one portion, which is the advanced vapor. And to me, that's what it all boils down
to. I totally agree with you. And thanks, James, for bringing us there, bringing us in, and giving us the opportunity to meet with and talk to your staff. I know we've talked a little bit online since the presentation, and I know that you've taken everything that we've said very, very seriously. I know you're making changes in your shop based on some of the ideas and suggestions that we gave, and I think that's terrific. I think if we can help the vape shops help more smokers, that's good for everybody. That's good. And, you know, for those of the vapors out there that look at me and Dimitri and like, you know, you're dinosaurs, and you don't vape direct lung, and you don't blow giant clouds, and, you know, that shouldn't matter. Our goal is to convert smokers. And in achieving that goal, not only do we potentially save some lives, but we create customers too.
Absolutely.
The things that we're doing should be so supported. by everybody in the vaping industry, right?
I hear it all the time. Like, I brought in CBD, I brought in glass to substitute my income because the sales were going down. Well, no, we forgot about the smoker. Now we're putting CBD, and I don't have nothing against all those products. But all you're doing is making vaping look even worse for a smoker to come in, right? What happened to the good old days? You'd go to a vape shop to quit smoking, and those days are gone. Telephone lines are open, 215-383-5752. Press 1 if you have any questions or comments, and we do have a telephone right now. 2803, you're on the air with Dimmy and the Italian Stallion. Hello? Hello? 803?
First one's a no good.
Well, I mean, I've got him unmuted, and
you know, Dimitri, I wore my 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝗀 𝗫 shirt that you picked
did.
on.
I did notice.
I wore it just for you tonight, and you haven't said anything about it.
I was gonna wait until later on the show. I can't hear 803 if 803 is trying to talk, so I don't know. That's definitely not on me. Everything is up from here. This is not muted. Let me make sure that this is playing. Yep, we do have audio on that side. It just seems like nobody wants to talk. 803, if you can hear us. Okay.
I think it's important to mention too, Dimitri. I don't know if you had plans on doing this, but you know, it was a really good experience with James. We've done that presentation with James. We've done that presentation in China. We've done that presentation with a couple of vape shops here in the States beyond James. And it's available to any vape shop, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
and organizations.
What's that?
And organizations that want to do it. I mean, there might be state associations that want to, because if it's just a single vape shop, it's very difficult for us to come. But if 4 or 5 vape shops get together and they want to do this, you know, combine, put the resources together to do this, we'd be more than happy to do that as well too. Because I know it's very difficult for one vape shop for us to travel just for one vape shop. But if, you know, a bunch of stores want to get together, we'd be more than happy to come up there. Which begs the question of if this is a bullseye or not. This is bullshit.
Oh my God,
this is bullshit.
Remembered that.
This is bullshit because I just want to solve this once and for all.
All right. You know what? Here's what we should do.
If you
let me here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna explain everything that happened, and then I will put a poll up in the platform group tomorrow.
Awesome.
To see who won the competition.
Awesome.
Okay. So should we explain what happened first?
Briefly, because I have another video to play. We're running out of time. Briefly.
Right. So we went to a bar, a little club with James Jarvis, and there was a really cool band that was playing there, and they had a dartboard. And you know how competitive I am. You know, I've beaten Dimitri at everything from shooting to what's the curling, right? So I wanted to have a competition with Dimitri. Who could hit the first bullseye? So what I told Dimitri was, I said, whoever hits the first bullseye, I let him go first, wins the competition. Okay? That is what I said. He didn't ask any questions. He just said, okay. So I threw, we went back up and forth, and I hit a bullseye. Now, there are, on a dartboard, there are 2 bullseyes. There's the larger one, and then there's a smaller center one. I hit the outside one. He said it didn't count. He said that did not count. I had to hit the red center. I said, no. I said, they're both bullseyes. I hit the first bullseye. So
okay.
in my opinion.
So in my defense, all I'm going to say is that, for number 1, I'm not a dart player. Number 2, when you say bullseye, to me, bullseye is the center of the entire board. And the center of the entire board is a different color than the outer ring, which is green. The inner is red, and I'm going to bring this picture back up so everybody can see it. You'll see there's a red. So in my opinion, that little red that's in the middle, that's the bullseye. I'm not saying that you're wrong. All I'm saying is that you didn't explain from the beginning that you can hit an outer or an inner bullseye. And in that, I'm absolutely correct because you didn't. So I'm thinking that I have to hit the red, not the green.
Okay, so Dimitri actually said this.
Haven't said this.
No, I got to finish this. Dimitri actually said that after we got done arguing and everything, he actually said this out loud. Oh, well, I didn't know I was aiming for the red. Well, yeah,
right. And I hit the red first. That's all I'm saying. I hit the videos there to prove it. I hit the red bullseye first. So this could be a tie. We could solve it, you know, we're going to Vegas tomorrow. We can solve it in Vegas, I'm sure. or we can solve it in a future trip. But in my opinion, I'm not saying that you're wrong. All I'm saying is that you didn't win based on me not understanding which of the bullseyes you wanted to hit. All right? Let me see if I can this.
All right, so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a poll up on platform. I'll probably do it tonight. We'll let it run for a couple of days. Who won the competition?
I think the lines are broken.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Because I have 861 unmuted right now and I can't hear it. Let me make sure this is correct.
Thank you, Bree. I know, but it's
oh, connection to connect. Oh, here we go. Well, I guess we're down. Hold on. I'll fix it.
Okay, you know what's wrong now?
Yeah. I know what's wrong. It's not connecting. Let me just refresh the page because
go ahead and refresh that.
No,
page.
That's the Blog Talk fault. It's not mine. I just want to put it out there.
Oh.
It wasn't my fault. We should
I blame you once?
Yeah, there we go. We should be able to hear the phone lines now.
Okay. So if anybody called in, try again.
Yeah, it was definitely Blog Talk that did it. It's just it's trying to connect and it's not connecting.
Start your show now. Press 1.
It appears that the host has already dialed into this show. Only one host is allowed per show. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
I am
Goodbye.
only one host. What's the matter with you?
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, well, I mean that's definitely Blog Talk. That's not me.
Okay. Well, we tried.
I'm disconnected from there. Let me.
I know there were a few people that wanted to call in tonight too.
Yeah, but that's Blog Talk issue. It's not mine. Okay, let's try it again. One more time.
Stop being so defensive. I'm not blaming you.
Because you're probably gonna blame it on me, like I broke Blog Talk.
I'm not gonna blame it on you. Look how defensive you got.
All right, let me see. Let me try this one more time.
Try it one more time.
Start your show now. Press 1 to hear important.
It appears that the host has already dialed into this show. Only one host is...
Okay, let me...
How many hosts do we have? I did not,
It's showing me that I'm connected in Blog Talk, but I'm not. So what I'm going to do is...
What are you going to do?
I'm going to refresh this page.
Go ahead and refresh that page.
Okay, why does it say host here?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know how to remove this.
This is a very boring part of the show right here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, let me play a little quick video. This is a 5 Pawns. I'm trying to fix it. This is 5 Pawns. We have to go see him in Paris, and we just wanted to get a little perspective of the industry has going. They just launched a new tobacco line as well too. Love it. More tobaccos, Phil. Imagine that in 2018, we're getting more tobaccos. That's unbelievable.
More tobacco flavors. That's awesome.
But I do want to play this this video and just kind of show you the state of industry. And since they're one of our sponsors, kind of show the new stuff that they have out as well.
All right, so you've got some new flavors, and I figured while I'm here, busting balls with Dimitri, I would talk to you a little bit because you are a proud sponsor of the Smoker Show, and we thank you so much for having you on board. But you've got one seasonal flavor, and then you have a line of tobaccos too now, right?
We do. More important for this show is the new tobacco blends that we are finally bringing out. A product that I developed back prior to August 8, 2016, and these blends are designed to be for the forgotten smoker. These tobacco blends, I think as an industry, we've been focused for far too long on the vapor, and we need to bring in outside smokers into this industry to help this industry to grow and to give them better flavor options to kick the deadly habit. So these tobacco blends that I'm bringing out, this is the first time they've been seen at the show. I'm using 3 completely different tobaccos. There's a Brazilian tobacco, there's a flu-cured burley tobacco from the southern United States, and I have a Cuban tobacco. 3 tobaccos that taste very different than one another.
They do, absolutely.
I mean, some are rich and earthy and spicy, and some are lighter, some are sweeter. So these 3 tobaccos, I've paired them with different fruits that are grown in those specific regions. So Brazilian tobacco is being paired with citrus notes like lime, lemon, grapefruit, predominantly lime you'll taste in this, but it's a very good blend between the fruit and the tobacco. The Cuban tobacco is being used with fruits that are grown in the Cuban region, and these are papayas, mangoes, pineapple, coconut. It's more of a tropical blend. And then the burley tobacco is being paired with fruits and berries that are grown obviously in Virginia and southern United States. So there's some strawberry, blackberry.
Go ahead and call in. I just want to pause this real quick. Go ahead and call in and we'll try it again.
Raspberry. This is day 2 of the show. Day 1, we've had just tremendous success. The people here in France seem to really appreciate tobacco and tobacco blends. So we think this is going to be a good one, both domestically and internationally for us.
Yeah, and I think I've tried them all, and I think they're absolutely fantastic, by the way. And I love the fact that you're thinking about the forgotten smoker. I mean, that's the whole purpose of this show right here, right? But not only for smokers, but I think the other way around for vapors who want to get into or try tobaccos, I think these are top-notch because of the fruity aspects and the fact that they are so much more complex than just the tobacco.
Yeah, it's not really banging you in the face with
they're not.
tobacco.
They're not.
There's a really good intricate blend of all of these fruits with these tobaccos that I think it's still giving the smoker, and you know, there's aficionados that still love tobacco flavors.
Absolutely.
That have been vaping for years, but the smoker is tasting something that they may be familiar with, and you know, is throwing fruit to it, which I think is probably the leading flavor that's added to tobacco that smokers actually gravitate towards and appreciate. Before bakery notes and before, you know, ultra sweet flavors, they seem to really appreciate it.
Now, does the line have a name?
It's 5 Red.
5 Red, so this is going to be under the red, okay.
And I've got additional flavors in blue and additional flavors in red that will be coming out probably early next year.
Okay,
These
terrific.
are all, you know, pre-88, registered in commerce and marketed prior to August 8, 2016.
Terrific, terrific. And how's the salt line doing for you?
Salt line's good.
And I just want to say that way to go introducing a. Okay, are they done? All right, good. Way to go introducing us a salt line with all of these salt nicotines being introduced and just confusing the hell out of everybody. But they are not a salt nicotine line. They are a salt flavored line, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this was all pre-August 8, 2016, and
salts weren't even there. Yeah.
And so 5 has always been about trying to mimic cuisine or, you know, fine spirits and getting the complexity out of those things into e-liquid. And sea salt is something used in cuisine to enhance flavor. And I've always been a 50-50 PGBG company, and this utilization of sea salt allowed me to be able to enhance flavor with sea salt to be able to take these blends to a 30-70 PGBG ratio.
Yeah.
So these are higher PG.
Right. Well, terrific. Thanks a lot. What do you got? Oh, go ahead. Oh, is this your new vape model?
This is my Vanna White.
Is this the most?
See, that's what happens when you lose weight, Phil. You become a vape model.
Is that the most you can afford with a vape model? Do it again. Do the little pan thing. Oh, that's lovely, lovely. Well, congratulations on the new line. As always, lots of luck with it. If you haven't tried it yet, make sure you try it. They're really, really good. They're very unique.
All you guys are doing for the Forgotten Smoker, the Smoker Show, I think it's exactly what we needed as an industry, and you're bringing new people in and helping millions of people yet to convert to vapor products.
Thank you so much, Rodney. Thank you.
I do want to notice these wonderful devices that 5 is using for the testing of their wonderful flavors. It just brings out the flavor.
It really does. It really does.
I did try the tobaccos here yesterday.
Yes.
The Royal was my favorite.
Okay.
It's kind of like a cigar type tobacco Cuban, right?
But Dan is holding ELO when he's talking about Royal.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't look at the label. Hold on. Here we go. They're both ELOs.
But anyway.
I tried the ELO, which is the citrus one, right?
Yeah.
And then I tried the strawberry tobacco. Not my favorite. But the Royal.
By the way, the strawberry tobacco is very, very good. He just doesn't like strawberry.
Right. I don't like the predominant strawberry flavor.
Right.
But, which is kind of ironic because I love symmetry. I still do. It's my favorite one from the line.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to keep vaping. 12 milligram symmetry.
Thank you. Thank you, Dimitri, for the excellent commentary.
I think we need to invest into a microphone. Why is that so loud? I don't understand. That microphone just picks up everything.
It does. It's very, very sensitive, but unfortunately, it's more sensitive to me behind the mic. What I got to do is figure out a way to mount the shotgun mic on the Removu, and it doesn't have any mount points, which suck.
Well, thanks. We appreciate the interview and the shout out for the Smoker Show, and it was really, really nice to see him in the show. All right,
and we do have to thank somebody. We have to thank somebody. We got our very first super chat.
Oh, did we? I didn't even see it.
Dr. 𝗃𝗽𝗲, maybe I'm saying that the right way. I know he watches a lot of the videos. I always say thank you, Pensy.
Thank you so much, man.
Did you ever notice that we never beg for money?
Never.
We don't have. I don't have a Patreon. Do you have a Patreon?
No. I have a Patreon. I don't know. I don't have a Patreon. I'm never gonna have a Patreon.
I am so happy, right? That because of our relationship with Innokin and I think some good decisions and everything that we don't have to beg for money. That we're well taken care of, and we can do this, and we can do the presentations, and we can do the shows, and we can do the reviews, and we don't have to beg for money. And I think that's terrific. And
I'm going to take that $10 and we're going to put it back into the show. So thank you so much for that. All right, 803. I think the phone lines are working.
Hey, wait a second, dude. Hold on.
What, you want to split it in Vegas?
I get $5. Hey, Joe.
Let me tell you something.
Thank you very much.
The first thing that we're going to do in Vegas is take that $10 and put it in a slot machine. If we hit big, we'll split it. We'll split it with Dr. 𝗃𝗽𝗲, PA. All right, let's get to the phone lines. 803. You're on the air with Phil and Deanie.
Hey, Phil and Dimitri.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
Great. How are you?
This is Bubba Hale.
Hey, Bubba. What's going on, buddy?
Bubba.
I want to thank Mr. Phil for sending me this Exceed box. I got it 3 days ago, and I have been tobacco-free for 3 days now.
That is fantastic, Bubba. That is so great. It's so nice to hear that, and thank you so much for calling in and updating us on it. So, has it been difficult?
Pardon?
Has it been difficult for you to stay away from cigarettes?
A little bit, because I've been smoking since I was at a very young age. I was up to 3 packs a day. I cut down when I went to a sub-ohm tank, but I prefer more of a mouth to lung than sub-ohm because it gives me more satisfaction.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
Well, I am so happy to hear that. You know, if we can convert one person per show, we've done our job.
Absolutely. Nothing makes me happier. Nothing.
There's nothing about this industry that makes me happier than hearing somebody who's converted, whether it be because of the things that we say, the way we present ourselves, a device that we sent you, one of my reviews. It just makes us feel so good. Yeah. And to us, that is what it's all about. And I sincerely appreciate the call. And I wish you all the continued success. Yes. You know, if that's not working for you, let us know. Maybe we'll send you something else out.
Absolutely.
But that's terrific, Bubba.
We're here for your support, Bub. Keep it up. All right, we got to get to another. We got another super chat from Brian Skinner.
Working.
Thank you, Bubba. We got
awesome,
Brian
Bubba,
all the way from China calling, and he super chatted as well too. Brian Skinner, I think, is on the line. Brian,
really?
Is this you?
Hello.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Nothing. What's going on? You calling from China?
Yeah, you put me on hold all this time.
I'm sorry, brother. I didn't know. How am I supposed to know that you're calling? Give us a little heads up. I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault.
By the way, this is a $5,000 phone call. Way to go, Dimitri.
What's going on, buddy?
Well, that's guys.
We are fine.
Hey, so
yeah. Go ahead.
Wonderful subject tonight.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
Great subject.
Brian, you're going to be at the Vegas show, right?
Thank you, Brian. It's one of those Chinese connections on the phone, Phil. That's what it is. Brian, we appreciate the super chat as well too, and thanks. I know you all the years in China working with Aspire and other companies. You've always thought about the smoker as well too. So it's a very, very fitting time that you called in and you touched base with us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see Brian in Vegas. I know Brian is going to be in Vegas, and I know Brian is also working on a couple new projects that we talked about. So, Brian, when those devices are ready, make sure you get them into me, buddy, okay?
Yes. So I'll see you in Vegas. and I got some business to talk to you guys about, and we'll have fun.
Fantastic,
Terrific.
Brian. Looking forward to seeing you, buddy. Go ahead and hang up so you don't have to pay $15,000 for this phone call. Thanks, Brian.
It's good to know the phone connections. It's good to know the phone connections from China are just about as good as the internet connections.
For real, man. I'm telling you. 224.
Hey,
Come on.
I want to thank Joseph. Joseph sent a super chat, and he has a question for us. So let's get to this question.
All right.
What do you guys think about giving a jewel to someone to help them quit? What's your take on the jewel? Sorry for the first time. No worries, Joseph. So, Dimitri, go ahead. What do you think about that?
I think that if somebody is going to quit smoking with a Juul, I think it's a fantastic thing. I think that, honestly, the mission of Juul was to eliminate cigarettes. Their formulation of nicotine and the way that they're presenting it and delivering it, I think is really, really good. I think we need to have a little bit more of a controlled sale of the product, making sure that minors don't get their hands on it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of it going around. So I don't know how we're going to solve that. But as a smoker, if that's the product that's going to help you quit, I have absolutely no issue with it. It's a less harmful, it's a reduced harm product. Another option out there for a smoker. Simple, easy, just, whatever it takes. If Juul is what's going to do it for you, I'm all for it.
And let's just say something right here, Dimitri. I know you know this number off the top of your head. What is the percentage of Juul users in the U.S. compared to like other vaping products?
70%. Well, in that type of market, meaning the closed pod system, they capture 70% of the market, meaning that
70% of the market.
All the entire companies combined have a 30% market share.
Right. So 70% of the market, and they did that with absolutely zero childish labeling, childish marketing, childish advertising.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. So, yeah, all for Juul. All right, 224. We've got you holding. Let's get to this phone call so we can wrap it up. 224. You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jordan. How you guys doing?
Hey, Jordan. What's up, bro?
Hello, Jordan.
Not a whole lot. Yeah, I kind of posted in chat, mother-in-law, father-in-law looking to quit smoking. I think they've been smoking for at least 30 years now. So,
man, listen, we just got some lunar rover. Well, Phil's got the only bad thing is that we're gonna have to get to you this next week. But we got some lunar rover tobacco that came in. Phil has some kits. Private message me on Facebook, facebook.com/vapinggreek. Give me your address. We'll set up a couple kits with a couple of tobacco liquids. We'll send them out to you. We'll try to find the easiest, the simplest thing for these old folks. Hand them to them, and let's try. Let's give it a shot, man. I mean, 30 years of smoking is a lot. Let's try to get them to quit.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Are you cool with that?
They've tried non-tobaccos out of mine and didn't like it.
Yeah.
So tobaccos, good ones, might be what does it. So.
Absolutely. And do me a favor, whenever you get it, this will be next week. Unfortunately, we're leaving from Vegas tomorrow morning, so we're not going to have any time to ship anything this week. But when you do get it and you give it to them, just call back and let us know how it went. Just give us some feedback. They liked it, they didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we just want to make sure that we're staying on par. And if they didn't like it, let's see how we can fix it and try to get them to quit.
Cool. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Jordan. Have a great evening, man. Appreciate
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thanks. That's really, really
Absolutely.
nice. All right, Jordan. Facebook.com/vapinggreek. Send me a message with your name and your address, and we'll get it to you next week. Yeah, I think, looking at the overall scope of vaping where we are now, I think that we are starting to see that shift. Whether that be a financial that the vape shops are hurting, whether it be people going back to the roots, maybe people got sidetracked, came off an off-ramp of the advanced vapor. I think that we're seeing it come back, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Equipment, experience, nicotine levels, all of that should be available for the smokers at any given vape shop. If they're going to come in, if you're going to convert one person, they're going to bring back 10 customers as well, too. So from a financial standpoint, it's really, really good as well, too. All right.
Absolutely.
Phil, you're doing something really, really special for Christmas, and tell everybody what it is.
Oh, okay. First of all, I want to thank Duro SIG5560.
Duro, my buddy.
Duro sent a super chat. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
so
Duro.
I wish you had given me just a little bit more heads up. Because
Well, you got to be ready to go, buddy. When I snap my fingers, you got to jump.
And I would have clicked that, and then I would have clicked pause. That's what I would have done. I would have done all those things. But so, if you guys have been following me for a long time, if you watch the reviews, you know that every year I do the Great Christmas Stocking or the End of the Year Stocking Contest, and this year is no different. It's a contest that's actually very, very close to my heart because, and some people have said, why are you sending all of that stuff to just one person? And there's a reason behind that. And the reason, and I've told this story before, It's because of my parents, okay? My parents made sure that for me and my brother, Christmas morning was amazing. It was over the top. It was more than we needed. But they worked very, very hard to give their children a very, very good Christmas. And that's what I try to do with this contest. So what I do in every review video, and we're going to do that for the Smoker Show as well with starter kits, I add more and more stuff to the stocking. And then in a later video around Christmas time, I let people know how they can enter the contest and how they can win it. Okay, so there's already a bunch of stuff in the stocking. If you go to tasteyourjuice.com, at the top of the page, there's going to be a little stocking there. If you click the stocking, you will go to this page that Dimitri is showing right now, and you'll see all of the contents of the stocking. I do want to thank all of the vendors and the manufacturers who send me this stuff. You know, a lot of the stuff is maybe it's stuff that I didn't get a chance to review. Maybe it's stuff that they sent me multiples of. I never sell anything, guys. I never sell anything. I have never sold a single piece that I've ever received to review. I much prefer giving it away, and that is what I do with the end of the year stocking contest. So in this video right here, we are going to add some additional items to the stocking. And awesome. I think for the Smoker Show, I think it's very, very appropriate that we add some starter kits. Now, I've already put a lot of starter kits in there because Innokin did give a pretty large pack for the stocking. So it's got their Proton in there, but it also has the EQ and the new T18 and the Cool Fire and the Chroma. All of that stuff is already in there. So let's add some other stuff. We'll do Joytech here. So we are going to add an Ego AIO, the original AIO, not the not the Eco that we just talked about in this video. Bubba will be familiar with this. We're going to add an Exceed box to the stocking as well. And then finally, one of these here, E-Leaf Basils, a really nice slim little device here. I would consider all of these, you know, beginners kits or you know, starters kits, but these are being added to the stocking as well. And you'll see that on tasteyourjuice.com. I'm trying to figure out, because this contest has always been a real stocking behind me, a giant real stocking. I would actually put this stuff in the stocking. I'm trying to figure out how to, first of all, I haven't seen a really giant stocking in any of the stores around here. Maybe because it's 90 degrees, I don't know. But if I do get one, I'm going to go ahead and mount it behind me, and we will put this stuff. But it's going in the virtual stocking anyway. And how you win that stocking will be announced in a future 𝗵𝗲 video. Maybe we'll even give it away on this show.
That'd be really, really cool. So very, very excited for the stocking. And we're very, very excited to come to another end of the Smoker Show. Of course, we want to thank our sponsors. The telephone lines that are brought to you by the Vaping Advocate magazine, Innokin, Joytech, 5-Pond Signature Vapor Liquid from California, Naked 100. Thanks to you, man. He's doing such great things for the industry and helping in advocacy and helping state associations. Naked 100 is just knocking it out of the park this year. My Vapor Store, use code MTL10. Nothing wrong with MTL, baby. We're bringing it back. We're going to hashtag MTL in 2019. MTL10 for all Innokin products, our products, platform products. And, of course, our newest sponsor, Lunar Rover. Lunar Rover just came on board, and I just had it right there. What did I do? Did I delete it? No, I did. I thought I had it. No, you're fine. Lunar Rover, Switch 10. I just forgot the code. Switch 10, lunarrover.com. Go over there and try some of their tobaccos and some of the other stuff they have on there. Really, really excited to have on board. And thank you for the support of the show. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. And with that, this weekend, where are we going to be, Phil?
We are going to be in Las Vegas. Vegas, baby!
I'm sorry, I'm bringing it up right now.
Wow.
I got it. Sorry.
Here it comes. Las Vegas, baby.
There we go.
There it is. So we got Friday and Saturday, November 9th and the 10th in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Convention Center for VapExpo International. So for those of you
First time here.
Yeah, those of you who don't know, it's done by the same guys who do VapExpo in Paris, in France. The first time that they're going to do it here in the States. Looking forward to seeing what they come up with, what they do. I know Dimitri and I are going to give I believe we're giving a couple presentations there, right?
2 times, on Saturday and on Sunday. And I want to mention this. They have a really big studio set up where this is going to be broadcasted out constantly in social media. So please tune in. It's done very, very professionally. Saturday, we're doing a back to the basics along with 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝗀 from France, talking about higher nicotine and products that the shops are going to need and how do we get back to the basics. We're going to have a really good presentation on Saturday. And I think on Sunday, we're going to get a little bit more political. But check it out. Please tune in. I think this is going to be a really, really good show. And very, very excited. Our wives are going to be with us.
Our real wives.
Our real wives. Yeah, our real wives.
I get to see my wife in her underwear and not Dimitri.
Absolutely.
Yay!
I get to sleep with my wife instead of Phil on a trip. So very, very excited for them coming out and hanging out with us. It's kind of, you know, celebrating Connie's birthday as well, too. So we're going to combine work and try to have a little bit of entertainment there. So if you're in Vegas, come out and see us.
We have a, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, if you're out in Vegas, come out and see us. We're going to be at booth 828 with, of course, Innokin showing off. We have a release this week, and I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that?
I'm excited.
Showing off the 𝗃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝘀, which is the new AIO system that we came up with.
What color is that one?
It's just a prototype. I don't think this.
Oh, that's the prototype?
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, that's right. You got the blue one. Okay. That's why it has the tape on it.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, the new 𝗃𝗽𝗲𝗿𝘀 is going to be shown at the Vegas and at Vape event down in Miami. Both shows are going to have Innokin booth, so come by and check it out. We're really, really excited about it.
Yep, I think we're going to have the Z tank there as well. I think we're going to have a prototype of the stick battery there as well.
Yep.
Very, very exciting. Yeah, well, Kid Bass or Bass, that's not going to happen because what happens in Vegas is going to happen with our wives. So
that's right, absolutely. I'm hoping that's for both of our sake. All right, guys.
And then we have an exciting trip coming up in January too.
January, we are due to go to the Philippines. Yeah, very. We don't have a lot of details yet, but when we get the details, we'll make sure we share them with you.
Yeah, and we'll do a Facebook Live with the folks who are bringing us in too.
Yeah, really excited. We've been waiting to go to the Philippines for the last 4 years. It just hasn't worked out, and I think this time we're going to be able to do it. All right, haven't said that. We've said it all. If you like this video, pardon me, share it with a smoker. All the episodes. This is episode 18. A lot of information in the last episode, so please go out there and check out the replays. Share it, like it. It's all about converting smokers. This is what we're always going to have been, and this is what we're always going to be about.
Are we going to do the temp control show next one? Is that
I don't know. We'll discuss it. We'll see. Maybe we'll have to wait at the beginning of the year. I dread that episode.
I know you hate that. I know you don't want to do that episode, but people have been asking. So,
all right, brother. Anything else that you want to add?
That's it, man. Except for safe travels tomorrow, and I will see you in Las Vegas.
See you in Vegas.
All right.